looking at a man. Run up down and sit alone, drowning in my sin. Get right or get left, what will it be? Time is running out, the blood is flowing down the streets. People need to know we're living in a war zone.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Loot Bros Podcast. I'm your host, Residentdarrell, and this week I'm going to start the show off a little bit different than normal. I got a few updates to go through. We're going to do the leaderboards and everything first, and then we're going to jump into the actual episode proper, because this week we cover two major topics. We do a halfway point for the Backlog Beatdown, and we do the Game of the Month Club, or the Loot Bros Game Club. And I want to go ahead and kind of put it out there, guys, early on in the episode. You have until next week to decide. Go to Patreon, go to Loot Bros Patreon, and vote on the next game that we have. Now, we talk about all that stuff later on in the episode, but I want to put it up here in the beginning. If you want to vote for the next Loot Bros Game Club, go check that out right now on our Patreon. All right, that being said, we're going to jump into the leaderboards. We're going to start everything off with that. But before I bring up the leaderboards, I want to give a shout out to my two teammates for the GTTSC. We were eliminated early this morning. Finally, in week 13, we fought all the way to the entrance of the semifinals. And my goodness, it was a hard fought battle. This is our best scoring week of the podcast. Listen at me, of the contest. We ended up with almost 20,000 points. Now, I've been trying to explain how the GTTSC works throughout the past few weeks on the show, but basically, we were at 19,229 points for the week, and we were eliminated. We were 1,315 points below the line with multiple platinums popped. Myself, I popped 130 trophies this past week. Gaz, he popped 107, and then Rebby Rick popped 82. But most of those were very, high value trophies. So we were knocking out some of the more rare stuff on the different versions of Minecraft and things of that nature, and some really good platinums that popped. But yeah, you know what? You win some, you lose some. We fought as far as we could take it. And man, it was insane. The last 15 minutes. So all day long, all night long, we were in the top 5, up until the evening. And then I think the lowest I saw us go was 9 until that last probably hour or two. And then we hit 12. Now, the elimination was 13 and below. So every single Sunday night, we make our way to the elimination line. We ride that line all night long. And I'll sit there and, be the last man standing for our team because of the 5-hour time zone difference. And I'll pop trophies as much as I can. And then about that last hour or so, the guys will wake up, which is 5 o'clock in the morning, their time, and they jump on and try to pop a few trophies if possible. Last night, everybody goes to bed pretty comfortable. I stay up. I'm watching a film, popping random trophies. I got the PS3 version of Minecraft going on one screen. I got my PS5 going with a game that I was playing on the other screen. And I got my Vita in my lap. And essentially, I just kind of pass around. Boom, boom, boom. Get a trophy here, get a trophy here, get a trophy here, get a trophy here. And it just wasn't enough. It was not enough. We ended up in the last 15 minutes dropping, below the elimination line. And then the other teams, I was going through and just clicking on it, and they're auto popping PS5 stacks for trophies. They're, syncing up or doing the last thing they had to do for a bunch of VR trophies. I mean, just crazy the amount of points. Just boom. It's region stacks of the same game multiple times. So well played. It was a very fun time. And I want to give a shout out to my teammates because, man, we had a good time. The three of us have been talking daily. Over the 13 weeks that we've been participating in this contest, I would dare to say we've all gotten a lot closer and really enjoyed the company, giving each other a hard time about a few things, encouraging each other, playing games together. Shout out to Rebby Rick for just hosting some of these Minecraft little sessions where we get in these worlds and do stuff together. It's been a good time. Very much enjoyed it. I'm super thankful for the team that I had, and we had a good time. So you guys did great. Next year, we'll do even better. So this is the second year I participated. So last year we did pretty decent. I think we were eliminated around week 9 or 10. This time we made it week 13. And Gaz would know. He can correct me if I'm wrong. I think I don't remember exactly. He already told us too. But this year was much harder. The scores were astronomically higher. And so definitely a very fun time. And just for context, all right, when I say the scores were higher, our week 13 score was 19,229. Okay. And we were eliminated. Our week 12 score was 14,000 even. And we made it. We passed. All right. A week 11 score was 9,000 even. And we made it. And then, 9,003. Sorry. Our week 10 score was 8,478. So, and then I'm going to just jump down for week 5. It didn't probably. All right, it's first. There it goes. Here we go. In week 5, 4,439, and we so it just to show the point difference each week, and then week 13 going up 19,000. Was it enough to cross the threshold? And we were 1,315 points below. So that means that the cutoff was over 20,000 points. Incredible, awesome time. So now all that being said, I'm going to read out the True Trophies custom leaderboards for the Loot Bros podcast. If you guys have not already, we've had a bunch of people join. Super glad to have you. Go to truetrophies.com, trueachievements.com, all that good stuff. Set yourself up a profile, link it up with your gaming credentials, and it'll glean and pull the information as you pop trophies. And we're going to experiment with some different ways to do the True Trophies and True Achievements leaderboards, because I think that'll change up the nature in which how people score from week to week. So I'm going to kind of play around with things in the coming weeks, and we'll kind of see where that goes. But JT and I, the commish, we're just talking about a different way to kind of mess with things for people and see, just kind of change it up a little bit. So that being said, we're going to jump into the Loot Bros True Trophies leaderboard. I'm in first place, 143 trophies for the week. My last trophy was a platinum. I am a Rush Hour God in Rush Hour Deluxe. This is a little puzzle game. It was high points, just recently came out. Tried to go out with a bang. And unfortunately, even with that one, wasn't enough. Second place, Misi Goats a Lot with 122 trophies, playing some KO the Kangaroo. Third place, to our team captain, Gaz Davis 11 with 111 trophies. Ended up with some basketball pinball. By the way, guys, I'm not playing any more pinball until the next competition. I'm leaving all those stacks unfinished. For whatever reason, I am absolutely trash at those pinball games. I have a dozen potential trophy lists. I think I only got 2 platinums. So definitely not my strongest. What is it? I need to say a word. My strongest showing. Strongest and showing, all in the same. Strongest. There you go. Fourth place, Red Beer Rick, our muscle of the group. He was playing some Minecraft on PS3. Shout out to him. Fifth place, 82 trophies, by the way. Mr. TMNT 84 with 52 trophies. Now, I don't typically go too much further past that unless I see something that sticks out. So we do have a new contender. So it's Big Bernardo B. I don't know if that's Bernardo B or Bernardo 8. It's Bernardo B. Yep, I had to zoom in. 50 trophies. We have a new member on the leaderboard. So welcome to the group. Thank you so much for joining. Glad to have you. Also, if you're listening to the Loot Bros podcast and you try to join the Facebook group, I accidentally rejected a list of people. I don't know how many people. I woke up one morning and I manage a lot of real estate groups, and there's very strict rules in the real estate groups. Like if you do not answer all the questions, you automatically get kicked out, because we're trying to really eliminate spam. And I was jumping between the groups, and I didn't notice that I started denying people access to the Loot Bros group. I didn't realize I clicked into that one. So if you are listening to the show and you're like, hey, I didn't get access to the Loot Bros podcast group, please try again. I did not mean to do that. I don't even know 3-4 people got denied. So sorry about that. But that being said, welcome to, I don't know if I read this out before, but Shane_Lizard_. I just noticed that name on the leaderboards. So definitely welcome to the group. And yes, so awesome. Glad to have you guys. Now I'm going to head over to the True Achievements leaderboards. In first place, Sadik with 3,075 achievement points. I'm styling on your, he's playing some Ninja Gaiden, by the way. Epsilon Your Bros in second place with 1,180 achievement points, playing some Power Wash Simulator. Third place, GDI Master Race with 265, playing some Chained Echoes. Fourth place, we have Dexbox with 155 achievement points, playing some Need for Speed Unbound. And then in fifth place, the Bearded Nerd actually played some games with 70 achievement points, playing some Diablo 4. Very, very nice. And I don't see any new names on there, so we'll let that ride. And we talk heavily about the Backlog Beatdown in this episode, so I'm not going to do a Backlog Beatdown recap right here because we go over that in the show. But I wanted to make sure that I touched on the leaderboards and I gave you guys the GTTSC update. Now, Gaz is going to be doing a large update for the annual trophy rarity event. We've been putting some major score up for that. So that's going to be its own separate episode, middle of the week. So I'm going to come back with that later on, guys. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Loot Bros Podcast. We're going to cut into the main show right now. But before we do that, please go check out the Residentdarrell YouTube channel. I dropped a new video recently. As a matter of fact, getting ready to drop another new video. This one's a really awesome trade deal. A little spoiler for what's coming up. Definitely some really, really cool stuff, but excellent content on there. If I do say so myself, we're almost at 400 subscribers, so the channel is growing. We definitely really, really appreciate all of you guys, and I would love for you to go check it out. And the last video that we dropped as of the time of this recording was our announcement for what we're doing for our 1,000 subscriber celebration. We're almost halfway there, and we have continuously picked up this particular item. I'm not going to spoil it here if you haven't heard last week's episode or if you haven't watched it yet. Go check it out, and we are definitely building up our collection for our celebration for 1,000 subscribers. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I'm not a big YouTuber guy, do us a favor, go check it out anyways. Hey, yeah, if you're a YouTuber and you hate the content, hey, let us know. Leave a comment on there. Because even if you get on there and say, hey, man, your YouTube content is trash, we appreciate the feedback. So thank you guys so much for everything. I'm going to cut into the main show now. You guys enjoy it.
It's the Loot Bros Podcast. We're going to talk about video games and mow your grass. Loot Bros Podcast. We're going to talk about butts and slurp and penises. So stay tuned.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Loot Bros Podcast. I'm your host, Residentdarrell, and tonight there are no girls allowed. That's right. It's just the boys. We have Mr. Hunter Houston himself. It is D. Titty. How are you doing, Thomas?
Man, I am having an awesome day. Let me give a special shout out to Pack Attack or Pax Attack for being cool enough to hang out with me earlier today. Also, for those who are not familiar, Darrell has an army of children, and so they need to be called. And they all hate anime because I actually asked them about anime. Like, I don't watch anime. I don't like anime. So
Darrell, how could you? Honestly, it's his YouTube. It's his eBay sweatshop. First of all, let's get it straight off the jump. It's his new eBay sweatshop.
They need to be called Residentdarrell and the Resellers.
There you go. That's like
it's also a band name, Residentdarrell and the Resellers.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Thomas, your mic is a little on the low side. It's picking up great in the program, so I just want to let you know in the event that we don't respond or hear you very well. Spider Pax wanted to go meet T Diddy today. He's heard me talking about Thomas here at the house, and Thomas had messaged me and said, "Hey, I'm getting ready to go throw down on some quesadillas." And not really, but he did say he's going to eat some Mexican food. And he's like, meet me in the parking lot. We'll hang out like bros. So we did. Spider Pax came out and then told when Thomas asked him, he said, so have you ever watched Dragon Ball Z? He's like, no, I don't like anime. Just like shut it down. He's being all shy. And he was like, yeah, because he's real shy when he meets people the first time. And
no, Dragon Ball Z.
He was being all shy. He said, so have you ever watched Dragon Ball? He's like, no, I don't like anime. Like all the shyness went out the door.
I feel like I got a Ricky Bobby moment when I'm like, you don't like anime? Fuck you.
That's terrible. Hey, well, that's Joe, Mr. TMNT84. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. AEW Fight Forever is it's mid.
Really?
Yeah, mid.
It's just mid? It looks
mid.
amazing, dude.
So it's fun to play.
Okay.
Other than that, it's mid. I didn't buy it. I went to my friend's house and played it, and I'm waiting for that. I'm holding, as they would say.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna yield on this game, as they would say.
That's so disappointing because I got it this morning, and one of the YouTubers I watch, Mr. Rightway, he is a video game collector, a little bit of a flipper, but he just makes really, really. He says he's one of those guys that like you just like listening to him talk because he's super excited all the time about everything he finds. And the man's got a massive game collection. Well, he did a game review this morning, and I was telling somebody. I might have been telling Thomas earlier. As a matter of fact, I was like, "Hey, man, I've been like holding off, not watching reviews, not watching a lot of the stuff that's been coming out about this game." And yeah, I get up this morning, and Mr. Rightway drops a review. I'm like, "Bro, I got to watch this," and I did, and it looks so good. He did the side by side comparison of the PS5 version versus the Switch version. And he said, don't sleep on the Switch version. It don't look as good as the PS5, but it plays good. And man, I'm telling you, he had the, now I don't know if this song is in the actual game, but he was using that No Mercy theme music when the character creator was like, diggity dog. Bruh. That had my nostalgia meter peaking so hard. I was like, I got to have this game. So Spider Pax and I started working in the eBay room and said, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to buy it digitally. PS4 with PS5 upgrade, okay? And we're going to buy the Nintendo Switch physical version. I said, we're going to play the fool out of this game. And I said, but our challenge for each other is we have to resell stuff that we've accumulated to get it. So if we want to buy this game, we got to sell some consoles because we.
What are you, Phoenix reseller now? You're just like, we can't open it until we sell enough product to make the potential profit back.
That's
Objection!
Right. That's the thing. But so the thing is, we've got like, I don't know, about 9 consoles we've picked up over the past couple of weeks that we haven't sold yet, and a box. We've actually got a giant tote of accessories and controllers and stuff and attachments, and we got a box of games. So we're like, it's time, man. We got a backwards compatible PS3 that's just been sitting on the shelf, ready to be sold, all kinds of stuff. And so yeah, we're gonna try to resell our way to AEW Fight Forever for next week. In the event that we don't pass go on the trophy competition this week, we're looking really good right now. So you heard him object. That's right. It is the commissioner himself, Poop Socks McGee. It is that one to go. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. I just 100%ed Minecraft while I was waiting for Joe to get his shit together.
There you go.
Listen, I got to make sure I got someone to watch the kiddo. I can't just leave her downstairs while I record. I can do that regularly, but not when I record because there's like too much shit that could happen while I'm recording, and I have to get up. And I'd probably pull my microphone wire out and break it like I did already.
You done that?
So, fucking A, man.
Dude, I don't know what is going on, but I have WWE 2K18 plugged up and the PS4 under my desk, and it sounds like a friggin' jet engine down there.
You taking off? You taking off back there?
Dude, my 2013 launch edition PS4 is like,
that's what I have too. It just
you know what it sounds like?
It's like a jet engine. It's like we're launching to the moon.
Yeah, that's right. It sounds like Starscream. Speaking of Starscream,
all hail Starscream!
All hail Starscream! How you doing, Matt? We're getting more and more consistent.
Shit! Whoa! Oh, hold on, guys! A dead horse just got thrown into my room.
You gotta kick it. So, guys, we are getting more and more consistent with having Mr. MAttacon on the show. Someone who said, I can't commit to being here every week, but each and every week we're finding ways to manipulate and to bring him on in. So, how you doing over there, bro?
He just wants to he just wants to say he just wants to keep it real. He wants to be the guy.
Take it to its natural conclusion, JT.
Who's like, y'all are all Sony ponies, and we need someone here to just say, you're not the only ones here.
To be fair, I did get myself an awesome new job back in May, and I work from home now.
Yeah.
So being up to Loop Bros hours isn't as terrifying anymore.
Yep. Yep, that's awesome. So I think that we've done a good job of aligning all things, and we get to where we need to be. So it's good to have you gentlemen here. We are here to talk about two things. So this week's show is going to be a little different. And I say that fairly often, it seems like. So I guess we're either A, not consistent about anything, or B, changing things up enough to keep it real all the time. This week's show, we're going to break it into two parts. We're going to start off with our Game of the Month Club, as Kalai calls it, even though we don't do it every month. It is our
Game
Game of the Month Club.
Game of the Quarter Club.
Jedi Fallen Order. Was it Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order?
Yeah, that's Jedi Fallen Order.
This is officially my first Game of the Month Club game, I think, that I've ever
There you go. Hey,
played.
My man's. And so we're going to start off the first half of the conversation with that. And then we're going to jump into the halfway point for the Backlog Beatdown. That's why we have the Commish here. He is an expert in both of those fields. But before we go any farther, it is time to toast. We're going to toast our Patreon producers, two of which are here with us tonight. The Commissioner, That Wants to Go, and Mr. Starscream MAttacon himself. I also want to give a shout out to Sadik and MZ Nitro. And I want to give a shout out to all the other patrons. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. You don't get your name read out because you ain't that big a deal. And
Tell us straight.
Guys, why did our Patreon suddenly dive?
But yeah, I want to give a shout out to you guys. Thank you guys for your support. And I want to give a shout out to the man of many names. All right. Some call him good old Jimmy Ryan. Some of them call him
live, dying,
honest Jimmy.
I thought you were going to say Tricky Mick.
No, he can't toast that.
No, what are you doing? Stop. Just stop, please.
He's chilling for his boy. Look at
just stop. Don't let me unleash the Kraken on the Kraken this early in the show.
We gotta give props to our man Jimmy, good old Jimmy, honest Jimmy, holding it down in the middle of these hearings. Honest?
He's not even there.
Good job, Crying Ryan.
Yeah, Crying Ryan
you talking about lying Phil Spencer.
Say secret symbols. Crying Jim Ryan. Yeah.
No, that's the biggest crock of crap I've ever heard. I get good bad reviews on iTunes for that line.
Right now.
Right, here we go. Toast it up to our boy Jimmy Ryan.
I'm not toasting.
He's in our review.
Objection.
Oh my gosh. I would love if Jimmy Ryan just started name dropping everybody and calling them names. You know how Donald Trump came up with like stupid insults for everyone's name? And I just think that if Jimmy Ryan just started rolling on everybody in that fashion, that would be the last piece to him being the ultimate supreme being.
I wanted to answer the question that you guys said about the $500 last
Go for it. Answer away.
All right. So here's my answer. If I had nothing,
hang on, before you go too far, let me interrupt you. Sorry. You got $500. All right. You got to choose PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo. Where are you going?
None of those. So what I'm doing is
not
that
the option.
I'm going to take your 500. I'm going to put another 500, and then I'm going to buy a $1,000 mid-range gaming PC, and I'm going to emulate all your PS5 games for free and your Switch games for free, because this is the universe where I'm a cheapskate, and I'm going to do the initial large buy-in to then be able to have freedom.
There you go. That is not a valid option. I can't speak, but you can do it. But we appreciate you trying.
I will literally be that guy who just doesn't support the developers.
You know what? This is what I see, right, guys? I see
this is the alternative universe where I don't own anything.
This is the multiverse. Right?
Yeah, I own everything. I own a PS5. I own a Series X. I own a Switch, and so But honestly, if I were to pick, I would pick a PS5.
Look at my man over here. Coming back. Jimmy Ryan said thank you. Jimmy Ryan said, you know what?
It's all jokes. But
he
like,
is
I would 100% buy a PS5 because of there is a track record to be held here that there are just better games on the PlayStation.
Jimmy Ryan comes out in his giant golden throne, right? And he's looking like Xerxes, and he's like, "You will find."
But I can't wait for
Mankind.
Starfield.
No, I mean, hey, you know what? In a year when that game works, hey guys, this is the Loot Bros podcast. Each and every week we get together, we talk a lot of trash, we make a bunch of jokes, some funnies from time to time. We talk about video games. All right. We have a lot of community events. So if this is your first time coming to the Loot Bros podcast, and you're like, what is this nonsense? Who is this Jimmy Ryan guy? And why is he so great? Who is Lion Phil Spencer? I've never heard of such a person. Well, each and every week we come together, we talk about video games, and we try to keep things evergreen in the sense that our topics each and every week can last forever as the Jimmy Ryan's legacy. Well,
oh man, I got a good name for him now. He's firing me, Phil.
It's like a Teletubby. But yes, guys, if you don't mind, go check out the socials, check out the YouTube, check out our good boy right here, Mr. T. Diddy. He's got his own podcast called the Hunter Houston ESG podcast each and every week. He's getting down and dirty with a couple of cats, talking about sports, talking about video games, talking about comic books, talking about movies. He's talking about everything. Music. I think he's even talked with our good friend Will from the PlayStation Collectors podcast recently.
Yes, I have. And Will is unbelievably a delightful interview. For some reason, though, he took our interview about old school games, like arcade games, and like how like controllers break and controllers are sometimes horrible. And all of a sudden, at the very end, it became about porn and porno parodies. And like, I don't know how that happened.
Lord of the G-strings, the best one.
What are the odds that you two boys started talking about bumping uglies?
Lord of the G-strings, baby.
And then all of a sudden, hentai was bought.
No, we didn't go that way. But it all led
you
back.
Wish you did.
It all went back to video games because remember, you need to cut this out. Maybe Nintendo actually bought a thing called Bootios, or basically it was like a Ron Jeremy where he did like a parody of Mario Brothers. So Nintendo actually bought that, and he said they'll probably just hide it in their vault so that way it's no longer to be picked up. And I told him the Japanese aren't like that, and I told him about Hideki Matsui. For those of you who are New York Yankees fans, Hideki Matsui was a big-time baseball player over in Japan. Came over there, did pretty good for the Yankees. But he also bragged, and you can find this in USA Today, any USA Today, or Google it. He has 2 houses dedicated to nothing but porno. And he has over 25,000 porno tapes. No lie.
Wow, man. The amount of times he's jacking off to those is infinite.
Lord help us. That is not what we're here. This is Loot Bros podcast.
Thank you for coming to D-Titty's Corner.
Every
Back to our regularly scheduled
if he gets the opportunity, he's a sandbag it.
We need to make like a sound effect or like a fucking intro where it's like D-Titty's stupid ass fact of the night. Just like play it right.
He just pulls like information out of the annals of the internet. He's like, I've been sitting on this for 30 years.
You should like ask Review Tech USA if you could like use try to protect your anus.
Do you need Bailiff MAttacon to get the show back on the rails?
You know what? Yes, Bailiff, we would absolutely need that.
Here we go.
Check it out, guys. I dropped a YouTube video this week, all right, on Residentdarrell's YouTube channel. Now, when I filmed the video to be released, we were at 370 subscribers, okay? And I said, this is the announcement from our road to 1,000 subscribers. So we are going to collect every copy of Kinect Adventures we see in our game hunting adventures. And then when we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're going to take them all to the shooting range and we're going to blow them up. We're going to shoot them. We're going to throw axes at them. We're going to do all this fun stuff, right?
Set them on fire.
Set them on fire. We got to set something on fire.
Fire.
So we're super excited about doing this. So we've already
launch them like fireworks.
There you go. We're going to put snakes and sparklers on them.
Oh, yes. That'd be awesome. Pop rock.
That actually be cool, though. Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to blow them up. We're going to thin the herd. This is population control. So if you own a copy of Kinect Adventures, I dare you now, hold on to it because I promise you, I'm going to do everything in my power to make that copy that's worth no dollars, worth some dollars. Because we're going to thin it out and make your copies rare. But our 1,000 subscriber celebration, we are already 23 subscribers up since the video dropped 24 hours ago. So that's a big deal when you're a small guy like us. So we're super excited about it. The kids are thrilled. And since we filmed the video, we've picked up 2 more copies. So we're at 3 copies now. And the bets are 100, 500, and 1,000 copies that we'll have by the time we hit 1,000 subs.
What song will you be using when you're actually taking care of these copies of things, or you're using fireworks, ammunition,
So
whatever?
we'll use music that I've written. I've got one song that's like really fast and a lot of chug, and then I've got one song that it's a little more. So I think I can actually mimic it with the with my AR. So the idea would be to sync up the kick with my guns. You ever watched The Gun Drummer before?
Yes. Oh my God, dude's amazing.
Okay. So we're gonna do Gun Drummer essentially with video games.
You should do the one from Metallica.
Yeah, that's a good song. That's one of the first songs I learned how to play. So, all right, guys.
That's same with me. I learned how to do that in the guitar, the solo part.
All right, we are here to talk about the Game of the Month Club that took us like 4 months to play. It is Jedi Fallen Order. I keep wanting to say Survivor because that's the new one, but that's not the one we played. So what we did was we went to the Patreon. We put a list of games up. We let you guys vote on it. We had a tie. I don't remember what it was tied with, but essentially my vote was the one that was the tiebreaker. And I was like, look, if I hadn't voted for the other game, this thing would have, been a win anyways. So what I ended up doing was voting for something completely random just for the sake of clicking a button.
Yeah, because of my troll vote.
Yeah, whatever. I don't even remember what you picked. Did you switch over to Jedi?
Yeah, I did.
There you go. Well, you can thank the commissioner. You can thank the commissioner. So if you played and beat this game or played and beat this game this year, you will then get the bonus points for this being a Game of the Month club for the Backlog Beatdown. So we're going to talk about both those things today. We're going to start off with our review of Jedi Fallen Order. Now, what we normally do when we do these discussions is I go around the horn and I get your general thoughts. Normally I go last, but I think today I'm the odd man out. So I'm going to start with my thoughts, and then I'm going to go around the horn and let you guys tell me what you thought of the game. So overall, my general thoughts of the game are it is fine. It is very boring at times. And when I'm doing Star Wars stuff, when I'm doing Jedi stuff, I'm having a blast. When I'm doing Uncharted stuff, I am bored to tears. I put 13 hours in this game and I called it. I didn't finish it. I didn't like it enough to finish it. And judging by everyone's faces, I feel like I'm probably alone on that one. But I beat.
So your opinion's invalid for the rest of the show.
I beat a couple of the planets, and I got to a point where I was just like, I'm not having fun, and I'm in the middle of this very grueling, very intense trophy hunting competition. So I had to decide: do I help my team, or do I force myself to finish a game I'm not having fun with in a universe I don't care about? So I bailed. I hit the eject button.
You sound like Tricky's bitch ass playing Breath of the Wild, or not Tears of the Kingdom.
No, I know how to play the game and am competent enough to finish the game.
he has other things he needs to do. He has a team to worry about.
Yeah, I just, it was one of those things where, and it could be, honestly, and JT did, I mean, you're not wrong. It could be that my focus and my attention this whole time, because we've been doing this competition for 13 weeks, So 13 weeks of like, do I push through something that I'm not having the best time with, or do I go over here and play pinball for points? I mean, you guys know me. So, maybe in a week or two when we're eliminated from this thing, I can go back with fresh, without feeling like I'm pressed for time, and maybe I'll have a better time. But
no,
as
dude,
it stands,
you need to get to the final week.
That's what of the competition.
Yeah,
we're trying, dude. We're trying. We're in ninth place right now.
Because, that would be pretty epic. Don't you get, a free swag, like a T-shirt or something?
I don't know. We're just proud to make as far as we have. But we'll talk about GTTSC when we get to the Backlog Beatdown. But as far as my general thoughts were, the game is fine. It's not Force Unleashed. And I'm not a big Star Wars person anyways. So I don't know that it was really speaking to me. Now, we're going to go around the horn. T. Diddy, MAttacon, Commissioner, and then Mr. TMNT. That's the flow of the evening. So, Mr. T. Diddy, what did you think about Jedi Fallen Survivor Order?
I thought it was the best thing since Uncharted because Amy did work on it before she was kicked off, or they quote unquote got rid of her. Amy Henning, if I'm saying that correctly, or Higging or whatever. And then
No,
there's
you
two
had
other
it right the
writers.
first time.
Okay,
I think you had it right the first time.
it starts out amazingly well. I don't want to give it away for anybody that hadn't played it yet, but it throws you in. It teaches you. It has a great hour and 15-minute tutorial. It's a slow pace at first, but if you're a big Star Wars fan, I played every Star Wars game ever. If I could actually own one Star Wars game, it'd probably be the one from the 80s where you play as Luke Skywalker in Endor or whatever. But that's nor here or there. The game is so damn good, and it's beautiful, and it's from Respawn Studios, which is originally the Modern Warfare studio that actually left COD to go out and do their own thing. And they, of course, they also put out Titanfall 1 and 2. But everything about the game is amazing. How you can climb on everything, how you can interact with everything, the story, the acting is amazing. And imagine this. A ginger guy that is a male ginger has never been portrayed as super cool and badass. This is the first time that's ever taken place. So there's no more kick a ginger day or week or month. Now you can actually enjoy being a ginger because you have something that represents you correctly and makes you look cool. Also, the voice actor is the
Still have
kid.
no soul.
Respawn
Probably.
did not. I don't think they helped with COD. They helped with Battlefield.
You would be incorrect.
Originally, they were the COD studios.
Yes,
Before they were
the
Respawn,
COD. Yes, originally they were the COD studios,
and they were with Activision.
Because
Battlefield.
I'm looking it up right now. That there's nothing mentioned about.
No, it's Zimpowski or whatever his name is.
Zampella was originally one of the guys from the COD developers. Once they left after there was a large fallout, they went on to form Respawn, who was then bought by EA. Diddy, back to your impressions.
Okay, now the game to itself does everything correctly. And the controls, I cannot say enough about the controls. The controls make you feel like a Jedi. The controls make you feel, and the thing is, I love why it's called Fallen Order, because he was just, it all takes place during Order 6, after Order 66, and he's been hiding for a couple of years or whatever. And it all makes sense. And to tie this all in together, this could actually be a movie, by the way. I mean, you could literally cast the guy who played the Joker from Gotham, who was the voice. I can't think of the kid's name. He's a man, but you could actually cast him to play his own role in the movie, and it would be perfect. The guy is just an amazing actor. Everybody who worked on it is amazing. And I just love how the gameplay is, and I love all the fight scenes. And each time you learn something new, everything is used. There's nothing in that game that goes to waste. Every new Jedi ability that you get, every new kind of technique that you do, everything is used in that game going forward. And even in the newest version, Jedi Survivor, when you get newer stuff, it's still everything is always used. And that's one thing I appreciate about the game. I love the game for that. And the story all makes sense. And when Darrell was talking about Force Unleashed 1 and 2, they make sense onto themselves, but you're dealing with a guy who's ungodly powerful and was trained by Vader versus a guy who's trained by some other people and who was not super, super powerful. He was just kind of like maybe a lower tier Obi-Wan Kenobi after, he gets kind of powered up and so forth. But Kyle Kaliser, I'm horrible.
Cal Kestis.
Cal Kestis.
I am horrible on last names. I'm sorry. That's why I call Phil Spencer Phil Spector.
This is a good name, by the way.
Yes. He's
Lion Phil Spector.
Yes, he's some weirdo in London doing horrible things and spend the rest of his life in prison. Probably should, but that's nor here or there. The game itself, I just love each planet represents what that planet should be. And if you read any of the comics recently or the older comics, or if you watched old I don't know who here has watched Rebels or watched Clone Wars, all these planets look how they should look, and the feels how they all have a good feeling. And I even what's the old guy's name who's kind of blind in one eye, who was in what is it the one right before New Hope? I forgot what it's called. The movie before New Hope.
Empire. It was the Empire Strikes Back.
No, Revenge of the Sith was number 3. The one that happened before New Hope was Rogue One.
Rogue One. I was thinking of.
Yeah, that's correct. So basically, the one character actor from Rogue One, the guy who was blind in one eye or whatever, was in that, and it was so awesome that he was in it before Rogue One because he got. Spoiler alert, people, he dies in Rogue One. But the fact was that he was in the game.
Everyone dies in Rogue One. Spoilers.
The whole Mahdi, the whole army just gets.
And one of the best scenes ever is Vader coming down that hallway. If that doesn't send a chill down your spine, you don't love cinematography or movies in general. And the one thing I can say about this game, even if Darrell never finishes it, he can at least get to that fight. And that is one of the most coldest scenes, and it will send a chill down your spine. What takes place with Lord Vader, because it is dark and sinister. And this is why I have a problem with the first 3 episodes of Star Wars. And I hate George Lucas for this. It's well, watch him in order. If you watch him in order, then you feel sorry for Vader because he was manipulated. He's pathetic. He lost everything that has any meaning to him. But if you watch New Hope, you watch Rogue One, New Hope, all the other ones, or just skip Jedi and didn't watch all the other stuff, has him as Vader, man, he is dark, he is scary, and he is a badass. He represents the ultimate bad guy. And this is why I think, the love and the care that's given not only to Kyle, but to everybody that's in that world of Star Wars. And then the music, the score. Dude, I don't know why you have Star Wars hate, because the score for Star Wars is good. It's not trash. It does all the music for Star Wars, and I can't think of the guy's name, John Williams, if I'm correct, right, Matt?
Correct.
Yep.
Okay. John Williams does everything that you want him to do, and seriously, it's a Star Wars game. There's only 3 bad Star Wars games, and there's a Star Wars game I liked in the remake, which is the PlayStation 1 fighting game.
Get the fuck out of here with that garbage.
I said remade into a better game.
I don't even touch that piece of shit. Just let it die. Leave it in the fires of hell where it belongs.
But look, if I had to give it a rating from 1 to 10, it's definitely a 9 or an 8. Or an 8.5. Because there's no flaw in the action adventure game that it is. It is what it is. It's not. It makes you sometimes backtrack to a couple of planets here and there, but it does everything right.
That map is horrendous.
The map is so bad.
Fuck that map.
Yeah. All right, MAttacon, you're up.
So I'm going to mirror a lot of what Thomas said. Is longtime Star Wars fan, and therefore waiting for something that makes you feel like a powerful Jedi. And, The Force Unleashed did that, and that was fun. But I think the story on that kind of missed some points of what it was meant to be connected to the Force. And what was interesting was in Fallen Order, you're playing somebody who lost his connection to the Force and had to regain that. And in that, you learned more about his motivations, his dealings with his master, and how that affected him personally when Order 66 occurred. Now, starting the game, I knew it was going to be good because the opening music was done by The Who. Not The Who, The Who, which is a Mongolian throat singing metal band, and they are freaking awesome. So if you haven't listened to them, listen to them. It's really good. That's when I knew it was going to be them. We were off to a good start. The opening level, I agree, Darrell, a good portion of that game where you're just climbing around can get boring. But then I argue Uncharted 2 was a masterpiece, and there was a whole lot of climbing in that game. So
and that was also boring.
And I got to say, the climbing parts of Uncharted aren't really the best parts. But the difference with Uncharted is it's usually as you're climbing, catastrophe is following, and then Nathan Drake's a great protagonist that like constantly saying things that
I will. Yes, you do bring up
this dude's a little on the dry side.
From a charismatic character, Nathan Drake obviously has a lot more charisma, but Cal Kestis isn't meant to be charismatic. He's meant to be young. He's meant to be, inexperienced. So therefore, he has a lot to learn. And I think the game does a very good job of helping you experience Cal's growth throughout the game. Thomas also brought up that the worlds are great. I don't recall any other game that I got to explore Dathomir. And for those of you, that's Darth Maul's home world. And it was really haunting and spooky like it was supposed to be. And then the other thing to bring in, and we'll probably talk about it again later, is the characters. I think every character was great. They all brought something to the table. Their animations were awesome. Except for maybe Seer. She looked a little weird. But
that's even the bug-eyed lady in the beginning?
The Seer is the black lady on the grasshopper that helps Cal throughout his thing. I don't know what it is. Her eyes look.
Yeah, she's like.
She looks like she's got ping pong balls for eyes.
That's what she looks like in real life, though.
Too serious for me.
But
that's literally what that lady looks like in real life.
Yeah. Ultimately, she does a great job with what she's supposed to do, and her acting is actually on par with what's needed.
Agreed.
So, and I think we all agree that the map in this game is horrible, and we'll get into that again later. But ultimately, from A to Z, I think all the characters were great. They had good chemistry working together, and their acting was on par, and the animation was really good to express their emotions. The Jedi powers were awesome. The only thing that I kind of wish that they would have done, in the game you can customize your lightsaber. I kind of wish that the different parts gave you different stats for like the type of fighting you want to do. Really, that's kind of the only thing I think that they could have done to improve the game other than the map. But
that's addressed in number 2 a little bit.
Yeah, it's addressed in Survivor.
I heard that. Yeah. So really, I had a good time with the game. There were lulls, Darrell. I admit, yes, I agree that there's certain times when I'm like, man, all right, I just want to get back to the fighting portion. I did initially start on normal difficulty. This game gets up to Soul's level of difficulty with those higher levels. So I bumped it back down to easy just so I could play through and experience the story. And even then, at that point, what's nice is you get the experience of what it's like to be a powerful Jedi, because you're grabbing stormtroopers, tossing them off cliffs, slicing through them. And one of my favorite moves is pulling them towards you and just stabbing with their lightsaber.
Or stab, yeah.
Yeah, it's just so great. And then being able to toss the lightsaber, bring it back to you. The talent tree was cool. Being able to customize the way that you played differently depending on your style was nice. And ultimately, I think it was, I'm with T. Diddy. I'm thinking that's like a 8 out of 10 game for me.
Nice. All right, Commish, where do you stand on it?
All right, so I platinumed the game.
Yeah, you did.
I 100% of the game. And I have only one gripe. It's really just the map, honestly. I really enjoyed this game. I was really confused with its Metacritic score, and still am. It's like a mid-70s. And I
I would give this an 80-85. I would not give this a mid-70s. I think that the combat is amazing. I think that the talent trees are very desirable. I think that they actually have volume on your play style. And then I also believe that the story is amazing. I like T. Diddy said, I enjoyed the planets and the characters and all of this other stuff. It's amazing. I just don't understand why it's a 75.
I feel that. Even being that I didn't finish it, so I can't say what the back half of the game is. Even when I played, I think that I would come to a higher conclusion than that, even though I was bored. But I don't think it was, again, like I said earlier, I don't know that my experience is the best to say this is what the game is. I think that I hit a dry spot and had other things kind of motivating me for the past several weeks. So
yeah, but honestly, I would just say that with Survivor, they definitely updated the map to a better state, and I do believe that ended up fixing a lot of the problems with the Jedi Fallen Order, which was just one problem, which was the map.
Gotcha. All right, Joe, what about you?
Yeah, fuck that map. I'm gonna start there. Like, that map sucks hard ass. Like, it's bad. Like, it's so bad when you're like, oh man, where's this collectible? Oh, it's above me. No, it's fucking below me. It's like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 bad. That's how bad this map is. It's Xenoblade Chronicles 2 2 It's
I had to use YouTube videos to get all
seriously, it's terrible.
That map just didn't tell me anything.
It's not terrible. As bad as Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but it's like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 map is like the worst map of all time. It's in the pantheon of fuck this maps. This is like 1B or 1A. It's like right below it. Other than that, story is fucking awesome. Cal Kestis is one of the coolest characters to be created in the Star Wars universe in a long time, probably since Darth Maul. I was very impressed of his story and where they took it. I didn't expect it to be as dark as it was, and then kind of like end on this note where it like took me on this journey. At the end, I was like, "Fuck! Now I want to play the next one like right away. Like, give me this game as soon as possible." Because the ending of the game is just so good. It leaves you just wanting more. Like, I want to know what's happening to Cal. I want Cal to get a movie, kind of like T Diddy said. Like, I want there to be a Jedi Survivor movie or TV series, and you could let the dude play the character because he knows all the lightsaber moves because he had to learn all that shit.
yeah.
And
he's a good actor too.
Yeah, he's not a bad actor. Man, the worlds were just so excellently built. And they really display what Star Wars is, which is like taking these fantasy worlds and making them as realistic as possible and having them inhabited with all the creatures and the individual like species that live on those planets and not like breaking that. One of the coolest things I loved, and Matt, you might have loved it too, is like the witty banter between the stormtroopers that were just hanging around.
Yeah.
Like, oh, do you see him? I don't see him. And then you just come up behind him and just stab him. Oh, there he is. Just stab the dude through the back. Oh man, the game is so good, so fucking.
They do
good.
So much shit talking, and then they get
yeah, it's so fucking awesome.
I dropped a dude to death from above earlier this week, and he's like, "Oh, I don't see anybody," and I'm just like, oh, "You're dead."
I told myself that before I buy Survivor, I'm gonna replay it again on PS5 with the upgrade. But because it takes up so much fucking space and PS5 doesn't let you download shit from the PlayStation Plus yet, it's coming. It's not yet though.
Too much stream it?
Yeah, you're gonna be able to stream soon. PS5 games.
That's what I'm saying. I was asking if that's.
Yeah, I can fucking wait, dude. That'll solve everyone's hard drive problems. I want to replay the first game on PS5 and then get Survivor. But I also think like at this point, like Survivor's not. It's interesting. Survivor's not dropping in price. It's kind of held its price. Like this whole time.
Just went on sale on the Steam sale today.
Well, yeah, if I was a PC master racist, I could go get it, but I'm not.
Yeah, so. You could, but I sure shit out of luck.
Null and void. So
null and void.
Well,
so
good.
yeah, the gameplay top notch. Like you really feel like a powerful Jedi, and I think that's important when you play a Star Wars game. Where I felt like Force Unleashed was like a arcadey Star Wars game. This felt like a Star Wars simulator. Matt, do you agree? Like you felt like you were actually playing as a Star Wars character.
Yeah.
Not
I mean, take the Force Unleashed and how that made you feel as a powerful Jedi. In this game, as you learned more about the Force and you learned the abilities that you could do and combine them, you then started to string your own combos, and it made
badass.
you feel like, oh my god, I'm an actual Jedi. I could do shit.
But it was so cool because like the way they progress the boss fights in this game is fucking phenomenal. Like you can't do shit in the first few because you're just so like you're not powerful at all. So like you got to dodge and you got to rely on dodging and like striking, and like once you get towards the end of the game, you could fucking just destroy bosses. Like literally, they don't even stand a chance. It's sad.
That's kind of my point. You know, with where I stand with the game is when you're doing Jedi stuff and you're fighting, it's awesome. But the puzzle solving and like
they gotta put something else in there, Darrell.
Oh, God, no, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. That's my least favorite part of Uncharted 2, by the way. It just like I don't know. Sometimes it's cool, but for the most part, I just want to shoot stuff. I want to say funny things, and I just want to enjoy myself.
Well, I mean, Uncharted is like the most ass backwards hero of all time that just kills everything in his path.
Kills everything. Yeah,
he's a hero, but he kills everyone. You know,
stop the bad guys by killing 1,000 of them.
I don't want to kill anybody. He just threw that guy off the roof. Let's joke about it.
Yeah, but
yeah,
that was my thing with this game. Is like I'm sitting there. I went to the first time I played the game. I went to the planet that doesn't give you the double lightsaber because you get the choice of the two in the beginning, and then so I was like, man, this is really boring. The map's really busted. I got to go through these stupid little temples, and I got this one weird frog looking thing I got to kill, and I kind of bounced off of it and then came back. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the other planet first. So I went and got the double lightsaber, which I think is freaking beast. It is awesome. And then I go back, I knock out that planet. Then I go to the next planet, which has that weird temple with the little balls that you have to kind of solve the puzzle rooms with.
It took me freaking forever.
Dude, you and me both. And then I do all that, and I'm trying to go and meticulously scan everything. I'm trying to get as many collectibles as possible. And the thing that's really cool about the game, but also a little bit frustrating, is that like at times where I get an open area and there's 3 paths and I'm like, oh no, wait, there's an elevator over here. There's a little path over there that I can see. I've got like a little treasure box or something. I got to throw my little robot in. And then there's an area over here. It seemed like 2 out of 3 times I would pick the one that was actually the path forward to progress the game. I'm like, I can't stand missing things. It drives me crazy. And most of the time I end up looping around anyways, but it was fun to play when I'm doing Jedi stuff. But outside of that, I was finding myself just really like, I don't want to do this right now. So, but it does play really, really great. Like there's like having the parry system, I thought was cool, but also not too OP. You know what I'm saying? Like you have 2 or 3 guys on you and smacking with their little shocker sticks. You know what I'm saying? You got the one dude shooting a rocket launcher at you. And Matt, you said you started on normal. I did the 2. And then I bumped it down to easy. And even in the easy, there's still times where someone will pop you with a rocket launcher while you're fighting 2 or 3 guys. And it's like, man, my health is really low. Like, how am I almost dead?
That's where you got to learn to start freezing those rockets in place and launching them right back.
Oh, so much fun. You just like blow them all to pieces. You're like, oh, yeah, you want to throw a rocket? You want to shoot a rocket at me? All right.
Yeah.
I got an answer for that.
Graphically, what'd you guys think? I thought it looked pretty good. I was playing the PS4 version. I haven't done the PS5 upgrade yet. I wanted to finish the one that I started. But I thought graphically the game looked great. Even old bug-eyed chick looked pretty good, even though she's kind of weird. The weird creatures. See, here's the thing about Star Wars that drives me nuts. I can't with the names. Whoever's on the super secret Star Wars naming convention, they are a level or 10 above me because I just can't with the names. I don't know. I can't. None of it sticks. There's like frog looking dude with like a little bit of sideburns. And then there's Oompa Loompa man. that kind of screams when he talks. It was like there's a Jedi master dude that taught you how to do stuff.
Fuck, man, I feel like they should just let you name them all, man. These names are way cooler than the actual names, bro.
It's so funny because my kids were playing something Star Wars the other day. Oh, Star Wars Pinball on the Vita. And my son goes, "What is this giant brown slug? He kind of looks like a poop emoji." Like, I think his name's Jabba. But it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know what the names of the planets are. I don't know what the people are. Like, it's a level of gibberish. It's like when people start talking about magic. They're like, "Oh, something with my dark mage wizard in my something elf darkland, whatever." I'm just like, bro, I can't. My brain won't allow it.
Far off from there.
Say what?
This Magic the Gathering, yeah, you're far off.
I just can't. The naming convention is too much for me. It's too the Pokemon names, animes, Star Wars names. I can't do it.
I feel like you need to just embrace it.
I think you need to watch a good anime.
I am. I'm watching.
He admitted it. He said he's watching a good anime.
That's what you told me. You told me it was a good anime.
What is it?
Attack on Titan.
Okay.
You gotta watch One Piece.
I guess that's. Yeah!
You wouldn't know. I played the game. One Piece is dumb.
One Piece
takes one look at Nami, and that
listen. All you need to know is that Batman, it outsold every Batman comic.
That means nothing. That just means there's a lot of weirdos in this world. That means not. That's not good evidence. That's like
it's still going on. It still has a Shonen Jump.
It's still going on. It's been out since 1995.
You know what you're telling me, JT? You're telling me that the universe is so against me that not only did I lose Zack Snyder, Henry Cavill, and Ben Affleck, I'm not going to see the Snyderverse. They cancel. But then we got more anime in its place. I think it's time. I think it's time for the Lord to return and just burn it to the ground. Start over. Let's go.
No.
Take me home, baby. This is too much.
This is the golden era.
This shit just got really dark.
You know what isn't hell? T. Diddy, what do you think about the graphics of the game?
I think the graphics of the game were amazing. Now, you talk about the upgrade. I actually upgraded on the Xbox X series to the EX or whatever it is, the X series version, and it's unbelievably beautiful. I did the same for the PS5, but had to delete it because, like JP said, it eats up way too much space, and I don't have that kind of space, even though I have 2 extra terabytes inside my system. They should allow you to put 7 to 8 to maybe 9 terabytes inside your system, but we just find out, thanks to Darrell and many other people who have said this, that the new systems are going to be coming out in 2028, allegedly, since they had that whole thing going on.
Thanks for that, TC.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Yeah. So it's really disturbing. And what I mean by disturbing is how much space it eats up. Now, on my Xbox X series, I ain't got much on that in the first place outside of my old classic games I've been playing like forever for the 360 and the original Xbox that I love. So it stays over there. I play it over there. I like it, and it's unbelievably beautiful. I mean, anything that you thought was super gorgeous on the PS4 version. Now, Darrell, are you playing on a PlayStation 4 Pro, or are you playing on the old school, the Jet Engine PlayStation?
No, I reserved the Jet Engine PlayStation for wrestling games and pinball. No, I was playing on my PS5, actually. I was playing. So what I have,
right?
So more or less the Pro version. The PS5,
yeah, essentially the
PS4 version would be the Pro version. Yeah. So it looks really good, but the res on it is not going to run as fast, and you may see a quarter of a second delay on those laser shots when they're trying to shoot you, or on those blasts. But when you're playing on the Xbox X series, and I'm going to give Xbox all the credit, man, it looks so beautiful. And then the sound, if you're wearing a headset like I am currently, it's like you can hear everything. Now, I'm pretty deaf, and I don't mean just into metal either, but I can hear everything in the headset that I couldn't hear if I was listening through it through my regular TV. And like the sounds of like the different creatures and the animals, and just as soon as you hear them cock you may sometimes even hear them cock their guns before they shoot it. That's how good the sound techs were for this game. I mean, it's almost a flawless game. There's very few gripes I have about it outside of the map, and that's about it. And it's just you felt like it needed to be a little bit longer. It felt like it was kind of short once you got overpowering. But again, like MAttacon, I was playing on normal first, and then I went to easy because it got hard, like real hard. And those bosses were no joke, especially the ones on the was it Kashyyyk? That one boss, the one big guy, man, he was a pain in the butt to beat. And then you had to fight
the flying one.
Yeah.
Or are you talking about the third sister?
No, I think it was the flying one, that big animal or that big beast.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, what was that, like the Wookiee world?
Yeah,
Kashyyyk.
Kashyyyk, and it was a big ass freaking creature, man, and it was a pain in the butt to beat. Now, a third sister, the good thing about that game is it doesn't punish you like a lot. I mean, it punishes you, but it doesn't punish you so much. So once you learn their pattern, you're more than likely to be successful, except against the last boss, because the pattern changes a little bit. But once you figure out how the pattern changes of how much you beat him, then you're good to go. And then I think they have after credits, like after you played the game. I'll have to go back and look. But I think there is after credits video of him showing off stuff. And again, the whole thing between the master and the pupil of having these flashbacks to show what he's going through, of what he felt during that time, during Order 66. And let's not forget, man, Order 66 is one of the toughest things, because not only was it, the Jedi were being killed, but all these clones lost their free will. People tend to forget they lost their free will. So they were killing the people who were their friends. They were killing people who they, led them into battle, who took care of them, who looked after them, outside of Mace Windu, who treated them like trash. I think, what was it? Yoda also treated them like trash too. But almost every other Jedi treated them like people. They didn't treat them like clones or second-class citizens because they were cloned after Jango Fett. So for them to lose their free will and become nothing but not mindless, but basically like you're kind of lost inside yourself. You can only do what you're told because you've been manipulated by this inhibitor chip that's inside you.
Whoa.
So,
what have you noticed after that order? Their aim just got so bad. Like they had the best aim, and then that order came, and
it wasn't them. It wasn't them. You have to understand that most of the clones were cycled out and killed. So when you have these bad, these guys in the stormtrooper outfits, they're not clones. They're actual humans or people of different, like planets and races and different aliens, because the Empire had when the Janinos were cloning all these different versions, Tyrannus, aka Count Dooku, and the Emperor Palpatine thought of everything. They didn't want these guys to be able to be around, because they knew they were a problem, because they were trained assassins after whoever. So they gave them a lifespan. And this is if you read one of the Boba Fett actual books, he's talking about, thank you, baby. He's talking about his lifespan. He's getting ready to die because he also has that same thing that most of those other clones have. So he has to find something that he can inject himself with that will stop him from dying. I forget which Boba Fett book it is, but he has to find that. Otherwise, he's going to die real soon, because his aging process is accelerating, because he's reached that certain age of where all the clones were. And so his body is like really accelerating super fast. And yes, I'm sorry, I'm a Star Wars nerd, and I did all this backstory, but
do your thing, man.
But
I'm glad that it wasn't them who was bad at shooting.
No, it was none of the clones that were bad at shooting. Those were all civilians who became soldiers because they were forced to, and if they didn't, they'd be killed. People tend to forget that service guarantees citizenship in the Empire, just kind of like service guarantees citizenship in the ESG Army, aka Hunter Houston's army. So there you go.
Ooh. I like how you did that.
Cheap plug.
That's right.
All right, MAttacon, you're up. And we were talking graphics, but I mean, take it wherever you want to go.
So I played it on my PC through Xbox Game Pass, which has access to EA Pass. So take that for what you will. The art style of the game is exactly what it needs to be. It's like Joe was saying, Star Wars has this thing that before the prequels came around, it was in the future, but of the past. And it had that look about it. Everything looked like flying cars and spaceships, but it looked old and weathered. And this game managed to keep that aesthetic, which gives it its Star Wars personality. Then you take the aspect of what it means to be in Star Wars, traveling to different worlds, and then each of those worlds seeming to be like a single biome. If you look at Tatooine, it's all desert sand. If you look at Endor, the moon of Endor, then it's, a forest world. So it kind of did the same thing. And what I liked was that it wasn't necessarily open world. You had small pockets of areas that you could investigate. So you didn't spend hours going through and getting lost. You were very focused in your adventuring. And therefore, those worlds had different styles of life, for lack of a better term. And as a result, they each had their own unique look that looked very good. The game played buttery smooth. I didn't experience any hitches playing it. And it was really just inspiring to see how much they could bring these worlds to life. And that it was, for me, easy on the eyes. And I really liked everything they did. The character animations were great. The ships looked great. The facial animations were really good because they expressed the emotion that the characters were trying to go for at that time. So they pumped a lot of tech into this. And I think the thing that we all forget is EA published the game, but they were hands off. They let Respawn do their thing. And I think the game was all the much better for it.
I like it. I think I agree with you. All right. JT, how do you think the game looked?
Oh, it looked great. I did end up playing it on the PS5 for a little bit just to check it out because I auto popped it.
Nice.
I cloud synced and auto popped the platinum. I will say that on the PS5, it looked gorgeous. Especially when you're doing a resolution mode, and it played well when you were in performance mode. But the PS4 Pro one was the one that I played on the PS5, and even then, it didn't. It looked really great. So between the two generations, it just really it didn't seem like there was much of a difference. Maybe if you put on a resolution mode, it would have like ray tracing enabled, but other than that, nothing much. I also did play a bit of it on my Series X along I think around 2021 when they came out with the Series X update. So it looked great on there too.
Nice. All right, Joe, bring up the rear.
It's a beautiful game. It's a beautiful game. It really is. Like Matt kind of said, like Respawn did a really good job of like polishing this game and making sure that it looked like absolutely fantastic. And honestly, like it has that Star Wars like feel to it. And like Matt said, it's like Star Wars games, Star Wars in general has this like certain feel, and this game is just extremely beautiful and polished. And I think it really nails the aesthetic that Star Wars is going for. Like on some of those planets where like there's not a lot of things and it's lonely and it's dank and It's like even the places that wet, like you could see like the aesthetics. It feels like it's wet. Like you feel like, oh shit, I feel cold here. I feel like, it does such a good job of, recreating the world of Star Wars, and Respawn did an amazing job on this game. And the game's beautiful. The art design's great. I really like the music, as Matt said, fantastic. Like the music is just as good as anything John Williams has done. I'm not sure. Did he do original music for this game?
I don't believe so.
Well, whoever did some of the music for this game, they did really fucking good job. So, like, I was impressed. I was impressed with this game. Full stop. If I had to give it a score, I would give it like an 8.5 out of 10 as well. Be in that range as well.
Nice. Well, like I said, I thought it looked good. I thought it sounded good. I know we've mentioned sound a few times, the actual sound design and the music score.
Sound effects were on key too. Like,
I think that was definitely a plus.
The TIE fighters and whatnot, they sound just like the movies.
Very nice. Awesome. All right. Well, then what I'm going to do, because we're going to jump into the backlog beatdowns, I want to give you guys the opportunity to say, is there anything else you want to point out? Is there any story beats you wanted to point out? I know we haven't really dug into too many spoilers, aside from a little glossing over the Vader stuff. Is there anything in particular, story-wise, you guys wanted to point out? Because it looks good, it plays good, it sounds good. You know what I'm saying? Everybody said the story was good. We haven't gone into any kind of detail.
They
They
did something better than what people expected, is that they gave him a love interest. And most time, no, it's true, they did give him a love interest.
Oh, you just took my answer.
Go ahead.
No, I forgot her name. What was it again?
You're talking about the Night Sister?
Yeah, the Night Sister. The person from Darth Maul's world. The
Night Sister.
Yeah, who is that?
How the fuck did you get that she's the love interest?
Because
no, not the Night Sister. I'm talking about the woman from the Red Planet, the witch.
The Night Sister.
The Night Sister.
Jesus God.
She's the love interest. Did you not? Oh, you probably didn't play Survivor.
No, I didn't play Survivor. Did they go more into that?
Yeah.
Did they do that in Survivor?
Yeah. She's the love interest.
Well, don't have to play that game now.
What was her name again? I forget.
You can go ahead and look it up. But what I'm going to say,
I think it's called the Night Sister, right? Let me get that.
she's only 40 Solaris a night. But no, the thing is about
Marin.
Okay,
hold on. Let me trade my speeder bike in for
Marin.
I'll grab my keys, guys. Fucking A.
They humanized him more than any other character, and that you felt some type of connection to him. You really felt no connection to the guy from Force Unleashed, because he was too damn powerful. He was basically Luke powerful, because people tend to forget in Dark Order. Jedi Dark Order. Dark Empire.
Forces.
No,
Dark
Dark
Forces?
Empire. Luke takes down a Star Destroyer with the Force by himself. And so when I saw the character do that from the Force Unleashed, I'm like, oh, so they're stealing from Dark Empire, where Luke actually does that. And actually, if you ever get a chance to listen to the audio version is actually done by all the voice actors except for Harrison Ford, because he's too big of a deal. And I love that Billy D. Williams actually sounded like he was into it, whereas Mark Hamill was just kind of just reading it. It's like, I'm just reading the lines. I really don't care.
Billy D. Williams isn't all that stuff, because he did video motion for Command and Conquer.
He's such an amazing actor, man.
Man's got to eat.
Outside of whipping somebody's ass because he had too much Colt 45, the guy is just an amazing Star Wars guy. And the voice acting that he did for Dark Empire was so amazing. When he says, Luke is strong, like Vader strong. And then like the music plays, and it's very dark. And then like they're on Coruscant. I know nobody here is going to read Dark Empire, so I can go ahead and ruin some things from Dark Empire. But that's the feeling I got, is where they made him human in so many different ways with Cal, because he was weak. He was no longer connected to the Force, and then he powered up as things go by. But his faith came back. It's just like in anything in life, as a man, like let's say if a woman breaks you and ruins your life, or divorces you and takes all your money and your kids, you have to build yourself back and become strong again. You have to build yourself back. You have to go to the gym. You have to sit there and sacrifice everything to become a man again. And so he sacrificed everything to become a Jedi again. He could have basically went back and hid and found some, far off galaxy to hide in and leave all that stuff behind. But he chose to walk that path as a man again. It's like people finding their faith in God again.
So you're saying he could have been a bitch like Luke Skywalker and hid for years and years and years and years?
That's not real. That's not real. That's bullshit canon.
That's Disney propaganda, guys.
Absolutely. That is the
we
most
don't need Disney. Get him out of here.
Shit ever. Kathleen Kennedy, put it this way, when she dies, I hope every Star Wars fan pisses on her fucking grave.
And I will.
Every Star Wars
fan. Here you
fan.
go, folks. Here you go. T. Diddy's 2 wishes. If Kathleen Kennedy dies, piss on her grave, and if you see Peter Molyneux, punch him in the balls and feed him his own penis.
Yes. Yes.
T. Diddy's got a hit list.
Needs to be on a t-shirt. His shit needs to be on a t-shirt.
T. Diddy's got a hit list. All the people that wronged him. All right. You guys got anything else you want to add about Star Wars before we bounce on to the Backlog Beatdown?
I feel like Hal had something that was going for him in terms of like he seemed to have empathy towards his enemies, where he tried to understand them. Like
that's his naivety, though. Like that's how he's so.
Well, he's still kind of the final boss fight. You saw that he got into her head, and she kind of just like avenge us, sort of thing. Like it felt like he finally struck a chord with that woman. I forget her name. Siri's old apprentice.
That would be the third sister, or the second sister that a certain individual who shall remain nameless as one of the baddest ass characters to ever exist, but he will remain nameless.
Yeah, I liked her a lot.
I will say, and to echo what Joe and to Thomas said earlier, the sounds are Star Wars. The second you ignite your lightsaber, you're like, okay, this is a Star Wars game.
So, yep.
The stormtroopers all sound like stormtroopers. The voice acting is awesome. The second sister speaking behind her mask is so freaking badass. I love it. And
they made Darth Vader give you chills in that final cutscene. Like, he was freaking scary, man.
Before I knew that was happening and I heard about it, I was like, oh, I kind of wish that would have been something I could experience. Because going back to what Thomas said earlier about Rogue One, and that hallway scene goes down as some of the greatest moments in Star Wars history. And this, had it not been spoiled, would have been a great moment in Star Wars gaming history.
Just that whole escape at the end of that game was just so masterfully done. It was like the escape in Empire Strikes Back. It was on that kind of level where it's like, we got to get the fuck out of here because we can't deal with what we got right in front of us right now. Like, this ain't going to happen right now. So we need to get the fuck out of here, regroup, and reset, my friend, because it's not going down that way right now.
Got a GTFO.
So it was masterfully written. The end of that game, like
JP,
you could. What's up?
Did you watch the Robot Chicken version of the Escape from
Yes,
Empire Strikes Back? It's like someone hold my wallet. It's like, man, fuck you.
You.
Did you guys ever, speaking of Robot Chicken, did you ever see the Krang video?
Yes.
And he's like, they're farting. It's like, that was Krang, man.
Trophy.
That's so funny. All right, so let's do this. Before we pivot into the backlog beatdown, what I want to do is I want to invite you gentlemen in, okay? I have created the poll on Patreon for the next game club, all right? I have populated it with some of the titles that get votes each time we do this, but they maybe haven't made it across the finish line yet. And then I've populated it with a few things that have been requested up to this point. This will be our 6th game club. Okay.
Metal Gear?
I don't have a Metal Gear on there yet, but that's what I wanted to open the
Revengeance.
floor.
Revengeance. Let's do it. Everybody beat Revengeance.
I've got 16 every 2 or 3 game clubs, every 2 game clubs rather. I guess it seems I'll add a few. You start off with 10 the first 2 times. Then we went to 15 a couple times. Now I'm at 16 entries, and I was thinking about going to an even 20. Now, this is something that we give as a perk of the Patreon to our patrons. They can go on there and vote for the games. So here are the first 16 games I have listed. And you guys can tell me if there's something that you really want to get out of there, like get this trash out of here, or if there's something you want to add. I'm willing to entertain going to 20, splitting the votes more and more and more, so that it's going to be slim pickings on what actually makes it. So here we go: Gears of War, The Quarry, Hellblade, Resident Evil 1 HD remake or the original, doesn't matter. The Evil Within, Dragon Ball Fighter Z, Tokyo Ghostwire or Ghostwire Tokyo, Skyrim, any version, including the toaster version.
Vetoing Skyrim.
Take that shit out.
I can't wait till Kalai listens to this.
I like Skyrim.
Joe, what do you think?
Fuck, man.
Yeah or nay? We got 2 votes against it. We got.
I'm gonna say
Skyrim can go. Yeah, Skyrim can go.
That's 3. Sorry, JT. Wah, wah.
Yeah,
all right, Skyrim's
out of here.
You're officially out of here. All right, Yakuza Like a Dragon, Injustice 2, The Last of Us, Dragon's Dogma, Peppa Pig.
Get that out of here.
Can we do Last of Us 2? Can we do Last of Us 2 instead? Because I know most of us never finished it or never went through the whole thing because we're like, fuck that game. So they
I never played The Last of Us Part 1.
Fuck that game. I was like, I beat it because I didn't want to sit there and give a false review to somebody. It was like, well, you're the liar. You're not going to play it. I beat it. I gave a real review. I knew everything. I knew more about that motherfucker. I knew more about that damn game than that motherfucker did. And he said he beat it twice. I'm like, how the fuck you beat it twice and I know more about it than you do, dumbass?
Can you pay attention when you beat things?
Who beat it twice?
Hey. So what Matt, what were you gonna say?
Was it
Can we get rid of Peppa Pig? Just I know it's a joke.
Get rid of Peppa Pig.
I think just
it's gonna win. It's gonna win. It's gonna win if you leave it there. So please remove it.
That's the sleeper.
It's not a sleeper. No, our fans are assholes, and they're gonna pick the fucking game. You know they are. So you put it in there.
Okay, so here we go. There's 5 of us. I vote yes to Peppa Pig.
No.
Okay, so we got 1 no, 2 no's. 3. Oh God. All right.
I love democracy.
No Peppa Pig today.
We can't have Skyrim, then we can't have Peppa Pig.
Oh man! So are we doing concessions here? Because I'll vote Skyrim. If
it doesn't matter. It's still 2v3.
All right. So check it out.
We're not putting any extras in.
Final Fantasy VII original, not the remake.
The Steam port.
Steam port, iOS version, PS4 version. As long as you're playing the PS1 version, whatever. As long as you're playing the original.
I say we do Final Fantasy VIII instead because it's so controversial. I say we force all of us to play it.
How about let's do this?
I beat that game. It's a good game.
It's an amazing game. It's misunderstood.
Final Fantasy VIII. I'll be down to play Final Fantasy VIII.
With everybody being an orphan and whatnot.
I think I'd be more down to play Final Fantasy VI, though.
How about let's put 7 and 8 on here?
All right.
Put 9 on there too. The best one ever.
9 is the best one. I am happy.
10 is the best one.
It is not. It's not better. It's not better than 9.
Final Fantasy 11 is the best one.
That shit don't count.
You never even played Final Fantasy 11. You didn't pay the $10 sub.
No, but I did buy it so I could get that adapter piece so that I could then mod my PS2.
Just like I
Good
do.
move.
Okay, so here's my question:
Like a lot of people did.
We're going to pick one of the Final Fantasies. Are we going to do 7 or 8?
I say
8.
7's too.
Okay. Like
everybody and their mother has reviewed 7.
Okay.
I think is enough of a different.
have fun with that draw system, guys.
All right, Legend of Dragoon.
Nah.
It's too long.
You can remove it.
Dang. Okay. All right.
It's also not really
Connected Ventures.
remove it.
I would do the Star Wars Connect game, which you get the
remove
dance.
it. Not every one of us has a Connect.
I'm not doing shit where I have to own a Connect.
That was for fun. I just get chill.
Everybody's gonna troll pick that, and no one's.
I took it off. That was just for fun. That's just for fun. All right.
Nobody owns it.
That leaves us with 12 items. So we need to get at least to 15. So we got to pick 3 games. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. You vetoed the game of the year and the best Xbox exclusive to date, Peppa Pig.
We could do the easiest thing. We could finally start talking about like Man of Medan and the Dark Picture games, which we said we were going to do, and then we never fucking done.
Well,
no, we could do Red Dead 2 and force us all to finally fucking play it.
The Witcher 3.
No.
So here's the thing. So I'm gonna pull up the
too much DLC.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up the DLC, old game.
Yeah.
Because what I was doing was I tend to populate it based on what gets voted on, and then I look at the streaming services to see what's available, and then go from there. So,
how about an anime game like Fist of the North Star?
Oh, game's so good.
I don't think that's on. I think he wants it to be on Game Pass.
The idea is we try to pick something that's either on Game Pass, Games with Gold, PS Plus, or PS Plus Premium Extra, whatever.
Kane and Lynch has been on PS Plus at one point in time. So
is it there now?
It's not on there now. But I mean,
okay, then we're not gonna.
All right, so let me read out the stuff from Game Club number 5. Okay, the things that were voted on were Hellblade, Resident Evil, Jedi Fallen Order, Ghostwire Tokyo, The Quarry, The Last of Us, and Bugsnax.
I say we do Resident Evil 6.
The Quarry's pretty good. It's not bad. I mean, it's kind of almost like a teen slasher almost.
Quarry's amazing.
All right, Matt, what are you thinking? Most of those made it on there. The only thing I didn't put on there was Bugsnax, and Bugsnax has been on the list multiple times. It gets voted on every time, but never wins.
Persona 5 Royal.
I mean, Bugsnax is the ultimate game because you can play it on either service. So
yeah, I think Bugsnax
available. I think we keep that.
Bugsnax. Okay, so Bugsnax will be our $13. Now the next month, for Game Club number 4. The games that were voted on, okay? Batman Arkham Knight, Maneater, Mass Effect, The Evil Within, and I don't remember what actually won that time. It
was Mass Effect.
It was Mass Effect. We did that.
That's right. It was Mass Effect that won. Yep.
I think Maneater. Is Maneater on?
Maneater was on.
We got it for free. Everybody got it for free on PlayStation.
Yeah, I think we should do Maneater.
Okay.
Got that as a PlayStation Plus essential.
I'd throw that on there.
It was, and it's different too. It's something different than the traditional stuff. It's a lot of fun. All right. So that brings us to the very last. Oh, we have one more spot. Now, someone mentioned a Metal Gear earlier.
Hey,
Revengeance.
That's so the
game is so good.
It's also so hard.
I think Peace Walker's the best one because Peace Walker leads into everything that's worth leading into, and that's where you first meet Kaz. So,
I mean,
that's backwards compatible on the Series X.
I think when the collection comes out, we can do that. Yeah. We can definitely visit all of them. I think we could do like one a month. Like we'll start an order and we'll go through them all. Like once that collection comes out, I'm down for that. Like
because all the Sony ponies are stuck with the PlayStation 3 version.
Yep, and we'll love it. So here's what we got: Loot Bros Game Club number 3. These were the 3 games that were voted on. Okay, Deathloop, Ratchet and Clank 2016, and Siphon Filter. That was the month Siphon Filter won.
Ratchet and Clank because
just put Ratchet and Clank in there.
All right, so we're gonna put Ratchet and Clank 2016 on here. That'd be our 15th option. And now
DC superhero pets. Let's go.
I got that downloaded right now.
Fuck that game.
DC
man. I played that
Universe
bullshit.
Online.
I'm about to beat it for the second time, Darrell, on the PS5.
World of Warcraft.
All right, here we go. I'm going to read it out the list. For Loot Bros Game Club number 6, here are your 15 options. Patrons can go and vote on these. Now, what I would suggest is if you've ever considered, I listen to the show, there's several hundred of you each and every week that do. It's like, oh man, I should maybe pop my head over there into this Patreon business and see what's going on. We have multiple tiers, lots of ways you can get involved. And even if, let's just say, I don't necessarily want to spend any money on you guys because you're kind of trash, you can still subscribe to the public feed. And you get our updates. You get some bonus content that I throw on there. You get early access to things. I mean,
wrestling takes.
Yes, all kinds of stuff. Loot Bros After Dark. Now, granted, some of the stuff is behind the paywall, but at least you're there. And if you decide, hey, you know what, this month I'll drop $1. Let me listen to a few hundred extra episodes because I think we've got 126 posts on there now, extra content, regular content, all that stuff. So, tons of stuff to get to go and check out. And you'll see these polls go live. So, Gears of War, okay? The Quarry, Hellblade, Resident Evil 1, The Evil Within, Dragon Ball Fighter Z, Ghostwire Tokyo, Final Fantasy VIII, Yakuza Like a Dragon, Injustice 2, The Last of Us, Dragon's Dogma, Bugsnax, Maneater, Ratchet & Clank 2016. Do you guys feel like that's a pretty diverse list?
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. We got third-person shooters. We got horror games. We got anime. We got first-person magic. We got turn-based. We got all kinds of good stuff in there.
Third person.
Yeah, we got it all. So, all right, it is live now. So, as you guys hear this episode, you can go head straight over to Patreon. You can go vote on the game that you want to play. As a matter of fact, my phone has already dinged me with the email saying, hey, this thing is live.
We should add a dating simulator game from the Switch just to give the Switch some love. Like one of those ones that cost like $2, that you just listen to try to get a trophy. Because they had one on PlayStation that I
do Hateful Boyfriend.
Yeah, exactly.
That was we got that from free on Vita.
You should do one of those like
Hentai versus Evil.
No. You should do one of those Steam eroge games like Belty's Quest.
No, it has to have some trophies involved.
If it's been on a streaming service or on one of the subscription services to where you've had access to it, that is the qualifier to make it on the list. Okay?
Hateful Boyfriend.
Galgun.
Galgun's the pervy one. We got a winner.
I bet it is. So yes,
Senran Kagura game.
There you go. All right, guys. Now it's time for the Backlog Beatdown. So, Commissioner, we brought you on here not only to talk about Jedi Fallen Order, but we brought you on here to talk about the Backlog Beatdown. How has this year been for you as the commish so far?
Good, because we didn't have any like outlandish questions from people like Tricky Mick saying, "Oh, this shouldn't be allowed because it's it's not standalone DLC." But I did like all the research to say that it was.
Yeah. And so far, I feel like it's been a much less stressful year so far with the onslaught of arguing and bickering and this person's game shouldn't count and that doesn't count. Yes, it's definitely been a lot less noisy for the first half of the year so far.
I had less time to basically say, hell no, get the hell out of here and actually have fun with it.
Excellent. All right, so let's go around the horn and see how you guys have enjoyed participating. Actually, as a matter of fact, if I'm looking at the sheet, most of you guys are not really that involved in the Backlog Beatdown. So let's do this. Let's start with you, Joe. I know you've had some grievances this year. What are your thoughts so far of the Backlog Beatdown?
I don't like it this year, but I will say I beat a lot of games, so I don't know. It is what it is.
Why don't you like it?
I don't like the extra point system. I just don't like it. I like the clear, like you just beat it, you get a point, you platinum it, you get another point. Like all the extra list shit and all that stuff. It kind of like it took away the true essence of what makes Backlog Beatdown, which is to beat games in your backlog and not just beat
the true essence of the old Backlog Beatdown was let's get all the spam and get like 1,500.
No, you did that. And you did that.
Essence.
It was literally just to beat games in your backlog. That's why we did it in the first place. And then the list kind of like it's like, oh well, I beat this last year, but it'll count this year, so I'll just beat it again for 5 points. So I feel like it kind of took away from the true essence of what makes Backlog Beatdown.
Yeah, but again, maybe we should just not call it the Backlog Beatdown and call it something else. That way, Joe can stop being all pussy.
Fucking A, JT.
Hey, we're not into the business of personal attacks. We asked the man what he thought. He gave us his thoughts.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. I mean,
I'm joking with you, Joe.
I know. We're cool. I mean, you're not a bitch like Tricky. It's okay. Not an auto popping bitch. It's okay.
I am an auto popping bitch though. I auto pop Jedi's.
Yeah, but you're not. You don't go, oh man, I didn't realize I auto popped it, even though I have to go into a menu and press a button. And
nah, man, I champion that shit,
bro. Honestly,
if I do it, I just seriously, go like, yeah, I did it.
I'm gonna take a moment to say how much bullshit this was when he did this, and even JT can attest this because we talked about it in depth, and so did Corey when he auto popped Spider-Man and he tried to turn around and say, oh man, I don't know how it happened. I'm like, dude. It literally asks you, do you want to load this save file?
Press square.
Yes.
To load save file.
Yes.
You have to know what you're doing.
Like, unless he just randomly just presses buttons when he turns on, unless he's just like fucking like this when he turns on his systems, and he's like just pressing random buttons on his controller. I don't know how he got there. Because
he did beat it legitimately. He auto popped everything, but the New Game Plus trophy doesn't auto pop. So he did beat the game legitimately.
And he did it on stream to make it right.
He did it on stream, but he still didn't get any points for it.
Yeah, well,
I wasn't the commissioner then.
Yeah, he's Tricky sitting out this year because he's protesting that it's not fair for him to cheat this year.
Well, ever since I started being the commission, there was less and less shit that he could get away with. So,
yeah, I mean, he's too busy playing the fucking division anyway. Let's be real. Like, let's call a spade a spade.
He's too busy hiding trophies for the rarity event.
Oh, dude,
listen, I don't care how many fucking trophies he hides. There is no way on God's green earth he can hide enough trophies to get in the top 5. It's not possible. Have you seen those scores? It's not possible.
I've been working my butt off just to get in the top 10. Not to mention, I'm fighting for, I think, position 6 now.
I'm fighting for 0th place. I mean, like, I'm literally want to go full blown negative because, like, I just don't. I just want to be the meme now.
Trophy.
Hey, somebody's got to do it. All right. So now, T Diddy, you've joined on with the Loot Bros podcast late into the Backlog Beatdown. What are your thoughts? I mean, we do these community events. We always try to have a way to shout out the audience, to shout out the listeners. As a way to plug them into the show, more so than someone who just listens to the show passively, but like, hey, we do these things. We want you to participate. And if you participate, we want to give you a shout out on the show. So what do you think about stuff like that?
I don't really have a horse in this fight, man, because for the fact is I don't play enough consistently to really get into anything. And what I mean is I'm too much of a game jumper, man. I'm always jumping. I'm always being sporadic, kind of like my personality. So to say that, that I could give a definitive answer, I mean, the one thing I do like about that's really cool is you give everybody a chance to compete against each other and build a community of gamers together that really enjoy each other's company. And the Discord is amazing. There's a lot of love given to the Discord, and that's the one thing I can say, even though I don't understand Discord to an extent. So I look at the meme page all the time, and wow, there are some memes there that will. But anytime someone joins something, because someone said when I was in a chat with Kalai, shout out to Kalai and actually the 2 members of the Loot Bros Driftcast that are here tonight. Super awesome. The Nintendo Driftcast, which you can get here from the Loot Brothers as well. I was in a chat with her, and then like people are like, she hits me up the next day. She's like, "Hey, people were kind of upset that they didn't get a chance to chat with you in the chat for whatever." I'm like, "Look, take your grievances somewhere else. I'm just a jerk, okay?" But no, so and look, I'm always open to have an open conversation with anybody. I'm not a jerk on purpose. I try to be nice to everybody, and believe it or not, because I grew up an army brat, my stories are real. I know it doesn't seem like it. It seems like I'm like telling some type of fantasy land, but because I got to be an army brat at some point in life, I got to do all this weirdo stuff. Now, if you ask me about my life now, my life is the most boringest ass bullcrap. Once I got married, nothing exciting has happened to me outside of like, I'm thinking like random chick wants to have sex with me because I'm married, and she wants to just, because women always want what somebody else has, and they didn't want you when you were single, but they want you now because it's like, well, there's a ring on your finger. That's why I don't wear my wedding ring. It's a long story. But I don't wear it, and I'll be honest with you, I don't have that many women mess with me. And every now and then when I do, it's like, "Oh, I thought you were single." I was like, "I talk about my kid all the time." They're like, "Yeah, but you could have a baby's mama." I'm like, if I talk about my kid all the time, I'm not going to have a baby's mama. Look, my life evolves around my kid. It's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. I recommend everybody who doesn't have a kid, go out and get one. Not kidnap one.
Not illegally.
Actually make one and have a family. And it's the most rewarding thing ever. There's nothing like it. And I had my dogs beforehand and my cats beforehand, and I love my cats. I actually had a big conversation with my wife about a cat that died 10 years ago named Pandora, which we saved. But I still love that cat. I still think about that cat. And it's crazy that the cat has been dead for 10 years, but I'm still singing that cat's praises. And I don't know. I just love that damn cat. That was a good cat. Shout out to Pandora, my cat, who's been dead for 10 years. Just like you love that dog that died, and that one dog you disliked that died. Darrell, remember you were telling that story about that dog?
Deuce. Yeah, he's a good dog.
Yeah, he was a good damn dog, man. And it's hard when you love something so much. And the community, again, I'm going to shout out the Loot Bros Discord again. The community is so good, but again, I have this thing that's on me as soon as I walk in the door until she goes to bed. And then once she goes to bed, I have a little bit of time so I can either hang out with the awesome cool Loot Bros, or I can hang out with people or guests that are on my show and then edit and do other things. Or I can hang out with my wife and watch King of Tucson with Sylvester Stallone on Paramount, and the old school Beavis and Buttheads, which is also on Paramount Plus, which I love Beavis and Butthead because that's what I grew up with as a teenager.
Beavis and Butthead's good stuff. But
I absolutely 100%. If people here are listening to this for the first time, check out the Discord. That is one of the coolest things. And if you don't like the Discord for some reason, check out the Residentdarrell YouTube channel. And
there you go.
I was on the fence about it at first because he talked about, hey, I'm in a competition with my daughter for more subs, so I unsubbed him and then subbed to his daughter so she'd win. And I finally subbed back. But after watching this week's video, I love this week's video so much because there's just so many cool things going on, and it's just like, well, what do you think about this? And with the kids, I thought that was super, 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 super awesome. Especially about the kids, with the whole hey, and I think it was Pack Attack who said, "Hey, let's burn it," and I was like, "Yes, let's burn it." But other than that, I can't really comment because I don't play consistently. But again, please join the Discord. You won't be sorry.
There you go. I dig it. All right, MAttacon. Where's your stance with the Backlog Beatdown?
All right, MAttacon philosophy time. So, I joke with Kalai a lot. I don't participate in the Backlog Beatdown, and that doesn't mean that I don't think other people shouldn't. It's a fun competition, and I actually kind of like the squabbles that come from it, where people are arguing for their points and hearing their justifications.
And then we just shooting them down.
It's fun, and I love that part about JT being the commissioner because he's a no shit commissioner. Nope, this is the rule. Screw you.
We couldn't have picked a better one.
where I take my stance, and again, this is my own personal thing. I understood that the backlog was, all right, we all buy too many games. Let's actually play them and make a fun little competition out of them. And it turned into this thing of people then buying games so that they can earn easy points to win the competition. And I was like, that kind of defeated the spirit of what it was. Now, I think you guys have brought in a lot of cool rules because, frankly, if it were up to me, and I think you guys had done this in a season where you had to call your shot, you had to call the games you wanted to beat so that way you can claim points. And I thought that made the most sense because, okay, you can call some games on your actual backlog to get some points off, get them off of your log. And then
nobody
you guys
played those games.
Yeah, nobody played the games.
The thing is with that is that we had so many people in the community event, but nobody was playing anything because they didn't want to negate points because they didn't want to play their list.
Exactly.
Which is why we didn't do that. And then we did the BLB 3, which was basically, it only had one extra point. Let's be real. It was just for beating a game that was not in the current year.
And that
basically beating a game in your backlog.
So then you guys evolved it further this season where you go, all right, here's a list of games you could beat that gave you extra points. Now, I'm of two minds of that subject. That's a really cool idea to get the community involved in games and maybe contribute a little to the Game of the Month Club. But then also, if somebody doesn't own those games, they're now going to buy more games that are added to their backlog. So if they want those points, again,
it's a circle.
So where I stand on it all is I love seeing the competition, but I will never participate in it, mainly because I am not, you all know my philosophy on achievements and trophies. I do not hunt them. I don't care about them. If I get them, great. They give me no joy going after them. So as a result, if I stop enjoying playing a game, I'm not going to push through just to say I completed it. If I got what I felt was my money's worth, I will move on. And that is my own personal philosophy. But that said, I love seeing the competition. I love seeing you guys get enthusiastic about it. And I appreciate that you put this out there to the community so that way everybody can have a fun time. Except when people like Tricky bitch and moan that they can't play their spam games.
Corey, too.
There's always somebody.
There's Corey as well. He's one of them too. He just he's the one who really gets into it. Like he'll
he's passionate, man. He's passionate about his points. Come on, bro.
He's from Canada, man. You can't blame him.
That's right.
What does he really have any passion about over there?
He's not even in the event and he's passionate.
Look, there's only three things they have to be passionate about, all right? And that is the Backlog Beatdown, snow, and
the
moose.
Canucks.
I don't know.
I'll just say this: the moment all of that started trickling down on me, I was like, "Oh shit, this is what I sounded like."
Yeah, it was. And then it's the greatest thing ever. We've probably told the story 3 times now, but he messaged me, he goes, "I'm sorry." I ruined it. I now see the error of my ways. Here's the thing, guys. I love this stuff. I think the Backlog Beatdown has been super fun, and we do change it up. You know, the natural order of everything in entertainment, period, is escalation. Okay. Anytime a movie comes out, what do they try to do with the sequel? They try to make it better. And anytime a show comes out, what do they do with the next season? They try to make it better. 9 times out of 10, you add too much, you make it crap. Trophy. And then eventually, you're going to have to break it all the way down to what made it great to begin with. Okay, so what we've done season after season with the Backlog Beatdown is we've tried to change things up a bit so it doesn't get stale and introduces new elements and things. The same way a trophy list is. I mean, that's essentially when we come together and we kick around these ideas, that's what we're trying to do is we're trying to give you new tasks to take an existing thing and make it a little bit different. So,
I mean, next year.
I also appreciate that you are taking the time to help me out with Discord people as well, because I have trouble keeping up with these.
There's days where there's a lot. There's days where there's not. So, what you got, Mr. Houston?
Sir, I have a super, super awesome question. So for next year's version, whenever you're finally done with this one, so whoever finishes last, can they start out like, let's say, 100 points or 10 points ahead?
With a handicap?
Yeah, kind of like a handicap. So in other words, if you finish in the bottom 5, okay, or even the bottom 10,
10 million points for you.
You automatically start out, just a little bit ahead, or just, with like an extra, time given on certain games going forward. So in other words, because, you may not have time, you may have children, you may have X, Y, and Z, you're given something extra to participate to make up for, like you not being able to participate because you had some things come up. And there should be a committee and what I mean by a committee, like in other words, if someone didn't meet a certain goal within a certain time, like the whole group can vote and cast a vote and say, hey, you're allowed this many extra hours to get with this one thing you were trying to get within the Backlog Beatdown catalog of the current games you're playing. And I think that'd be kind of awesome for those people who just like, kind of like, like you're in college and like your professor's like, well, you need to do this. Well, I don't have time to do that. And it's like, well, I'll give you 4 extra hours or 2 extra hours. So then the pressure is really on because you only have so many hours to make that happen. And that will actually add more excitement as well. That's just my theory.
There's no time limit except for the year.
Well, then.
So I'm just a bit confused because like there's we don't give you a time limit. We just give you the year.
Okay, I thought y'all were also on their time limits on their certain games.
Nope.
Oh no, that's one of Garrett's like side event things that he does.
Oh, never mind then.
No, there's no time limits. The only time limit there is you have a year. And even if you don't beat the game that year, you can beat it the next year.
But does it still add on to the same year or to the
No, it'll just add to the next year.
Okay.
So
what if you're just holding like 4 or 5 games over for the next year because you've already lost? So that's a good way to cheat though for some people.
Well,
I did that.
There's no
and then they didn't count because the motherfuckers started the competition 14 days after the year started, and they were like, "Oh, all your points from January 1st to January 14th don't count." I beat 14 games on January 1st, 14 of them last year. They all didn't count.
Hey, you snooze, you lose, brother.
Well, no,
they
counted. You were part of the committee. They counted. You just didn't update.
Sorry, it was 2 years ago I did that. They didn't count that year.
Well, the thing is,
I wasn't there that year because I remember specifically. I was like, yeah, in 2022,
the missing piece to all of this right here, though, is Joe. You're on the panel. You're responsible for updating your own list, or you get no points.
I don't like updating my own list, and here's why: because then there could be collusion, and I could just make shit up and just put it in there.
Well, I would literally. I look at all of your trophy lists now. If you're playing Nintendo Switch games, I'm personally going to question you about it.
Here's the thing, and I can tell you this, as the creator, the founder of the Backlog Beatdown, I get questioned. I enter my own stuff. I post my stuff. Some days I'll post on Facebook. Some days it's in Discord. Some days I don't post it at all because I know that I did it. But you know what? I get questioned. People are watching my stuff.
I get questioned too. They PM me.
Yeah. So here's the thing. The people that are participating take it serious, and they ain't gonna let you slide no bull crap around. They're watching your PSNPs, they're watching your true trophies, they're watching your PlayStation accounts, and when you throw these points out there, when you throw your screenshots out there, there are people that go and look, because I've had my points challenged and removed by the commissioner that I placed in my competition.
Yes.
What's up, T Diddy?
I know that you take this seriously because every week you're playing on your Razor and you're like, oh yeah, I have my other PlayStation downstairs. I'm trying to pop these online trophies because I have it playing against, whatever, like set on auto, and you're trying to do stuff. Why would you say that, or why would you do that unless you were actually trying to actually get some trophies? And I look at your trophy list from time to time when I'm online. I'm like, He played that bullshit game.
The thing is that Darrell's also a part of the GTTSC, which he kind of has to have like multiple consoles going to keep the rarity going so that he gets the true trophy difference. That doesn't have anything to do with the BLB though.
But it definitely
adds, for sure, but
into each other.
It's more for the GTTSC, I believe.
It's definitely it all comes together because right now our running events we have our weekly leaderboards, okay, which I want to come back to. JT, don't let me forget about that weekly leaderboards. You said something about 4 years ago that made sense to me this year, not before. So we got the weekly leaderboards. We got the Backlog Beatdown, which we're going to read scores here in a little bit. And then I participate in a handful of different trophy events every now and again. Gareth, Gaz, Davis.
Has a rarity leaderboard that also indirectly fuels the Backlog Beatdown as well.
And he's been a big push kind of in the background to get me to explore more of these things because there's a lot of cool stuff out there. If you're into trophy hunting or if you're just into playing games, in a not so much a competitive sense, but yes, it's a little competitive. Like he's got me involved in trophy scoring brackets. He's got me involved in the GTTSC, and like today, before we got recording, I was able to get online with him and Redbeard Rick. And we played some games together, man. It was a really good time. They're about 5 hours ahead of us. So we only got about an hour and a half together. But all these things are designed to build camaraderie and build, those bring you together as gamers. And all these events have been, it's very interesting how they've all woven together.
That we used to do.
Yeah.
Now, is Redbeard going to come out to the HorrorCon?
No, he's in England.
Okay. Hey, you never know.
You never know. He might decide, you know what? Of all the things in the world to go do, I'm going to ride. I'm going to fly out to this little horror convention. But here's the thing, guys. We're going to get into the scores here in a minute. But it's been, for me, I look at it like I'm seeing everyone going back and forth. I'm seeing everybody participating and challenging each other. And what's amazing is when you see people congratulating each other. Like, T Diddy's done a really good job of shamelessly plugging our Loot Bros Discord tonight. But there's things that happen in there, especially in the BLB channel, where it's like, oh, I played a game. And sometimes, and I'll give credit to Stylin because he does it more than anybody. But he's like, here's a game I played, I beat it, and here's a short little. No, here's my opinion of it. Oh, this is a great game. This is a FMV. This one's trash, whatever. And it's been a cool way to see new games pop up and get talked about. Seeing people high-fiving each other and congratulating each other. The Facebook group has been really great for that because you see someone posts a platinum in there, and you'll see MZ Nitro just going in there and saying congratulations on your platinum, things like that. And so, yes, sure, it's a competition because there is a point system and people are trying to win. But at the end of the day, it's a camaraderie building system and people are cheering each other on and they're boosting trophies together. Like right now, we've got a couple messenger groups. JT, I think you're part of one of them. And it's like Assassin's Creed boosting.
Yeah.
But that has
failure that has been.
But it's hard, man. It's hard.
It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great fun. I enjoy the boosts when they happen.
Yeah, but it's hard to do because everyone's different time zones all over the country, spread out.
We're almost done with it.
Mm-hmm. I haven't made one yet. You guys have been posting them for months, and I haven't made one yet. But so the purpose of these, and I know sometimes people let their competitive side overshadow, what we're actually doing here. But the purpose of this stuff is just to come together as friends, fans of a medium, fans of a hobby. And enjoy it together, edge each other on.
A community.
Yeah, exactly. Edge each other on with a little bit of competition, edge each other along with a little bit of cooperative play and boosting and things like that. So
I don't really. So the way I think you're right, but the way I call it isn't so much as a competition, but a community event.
Yep. Yeah, really.
Because. Let's be real. There's no prize for the Backlog Beatdown.
I mean, there might be one day. I might whip out my big fat, Jimmy Ryan PS wallet and say, here's some credits for you.
Yeah, we could do that, but like at the end of the day, it's a community event that's made to for people to have fun. And you can talk now.
Okay, I would like to think that the prize should be able to come on to the show, and you're able to pick the topic of the show for that week. So it has to do with either gaming, wrestling, or wrestling and gaming, which
just
is
wrestling.
super awesome. Yes, or just wrestling.
Anime.
So
we gotta get a troll.
I would
just
love
be all about anime.
That, where someone who actually wins, that's not not a member of the Loot Bros, but actually from the community, and they have the opportunity to come on, but not only come on, but pick the topic, and we'll actually give them a shout out for at least 2 weeks, saying, hey, this person's awesome, this person did a good job, and then mention the top 3 finalists. So that I think that would be a good prize. In my
just want a golden poop sock.
The gold. There you go.
Maybe the prize is the friends we made along the way.
Oh,
that's kind of what I was getting at. Is that like the prize is the community and what we were. All of our discussions, our banter, our...
What kind of participation trophy bullshit is that? The prize is the friends who made along the way. Well, we all get trophies for participating.
That's kind of like the... it's like, what is it, being the guy who's always the girl's friend or whatever, It's like...
You're friend zoned.
Yeah, you're just friend zoned. Everybody wants to be friend zoned. Any guy who says he's happy being in the friend zone, that dude's a liar, and he lives in the most depressing life that he's ever lived. And dude... Get away from that girl, take your ass to the gym, change your life, and become a better man. Become strong, become tough.
Dude, I like to be like the lone wolf and then go on like Tinder and get banged, man.
Dear Lord. All right, check it out. Before we get into the actual scores of the Backlog Beatdown.
I love that reaction. I don't actually do that. But like...
but it'd be cool if I did.
Me and that Veronica Vaughn.
Had a threesome before.
All right, okay. All right, we're getting out of this conversation right now. So, hey, before we get into the actual scores of the Backlog Beatdown, we do have some community write-ins. Some of the questions kind of tie into what we were talking about earlier, and some of it is more nonsensical. So I'm going to start off with what's in the Discord. And like a good host, I clicked out of it. So here we go. Community questions. We have one actually from Departed. He asked if anyone's playing Final Fantasy 16 and how is it? Joe, did you ever jump into Final Fantasy 16?
Well, JT finished it. I've been playing it, but JT fucking wiped the floor with it like he normally does.
Well, I'm going for the platinum now as well. So
I've gotten to a point where now the combat system's kind of opened up a little bit. It's a little bit more... Because I'm not going to say the game's not fun. The game's awesome, and it's great. But it's like press square to win, and then press R1 to dodge.
Is the combat good? Because I heard it's designed by the same guy.
Yes. Yes, it is.
The guy who designed this is the guy who designed the competitor to World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy 14. He is, and they're like neck and neck. They're tied for the 2 best MMORPGs in the world. So Final Fantasy 14 is made by this guy,
Yoshi P.
Yeah.
Nice.
Fuck World of Warcraft.
All right. So that would mean that you got the good old +1 for Final Fantasy 16 in the Backlog Beatdown, correct?
Yeah, I did that yet.
You see how I did that? I tied it all in together, to make it make sense.
So awesome. I will say, like the biggest thing I'll say, and I know JT and I talked about it a little bit, is like it's kind of like a beautiful disaster. The game's absolutely gorgeous. The game's absolutely gorgeous. It's one of the most beautiful PlayStation 5 games.
The story is great.
It's fucking grand. It's grandiose and great. And then the combat system and how easy the game is kind of like made it like it was like. Man, like it's why I like turn-based RPGs versus action RPGs, because turn-based RPGs actually take skill to play. Sometimes I know sometimes they don't, because when you get super overpowered, you can just keep fucking pressing X. But this is just press square, and then like I do like the accessibilities though in this game with the rings. Like I didn't use the ring system, but you can, and you can make the game like pretty much like your bitch, basically.
Well, yeah. I mean, you don't even really have to use the rings, and it's still
you don't. But like if you
press square to win with a dodge of a one dodge.
The dodge is just it just works. The game's just so good. Like, and yeah, Darrell, you are right. The guy who did the combat is the guy that worked for Platinum Games before this.
Yes.
And he created the combat system. It's the same. Well, so it's a jettison from the combat system from Strangers in Paradise. So they started using that combat system in Strangers in Paradise, but they modified it to be more Devil May Cry-esque and less Souls-esque in this game.
Yeah, they even have like the cool ass combo thing at
dude,
like
it's dope.
Yeah, but like the thing that really keeps you going, even with the combat as it is the next epic cinematic.
Dude, just the story in general. Shout out to Ben Starr, man. The guy who plays Clive is fucking awesome, and he kills it as Clive.
I'm gonna say this.
His mother's a piece of trash.
I am not a fan of how it ended, though. I don't like when games end that way.
I have not gotten there yet, so I can neither confirm or deny.
And that is why I'm going to leave it at that.
Nice. Well, this is not the Final Fantasy 16 spoiler club, so let's move on to the next one. So, our good buddy, I'm Styling on You Bro, writes in. He asked if the map was really as bad as Legend Tales. Now, that is in reference to Jedi Fallen Order, which we read that.
Next.
Yeah, we said that multiple times, but I did want to acknowledge, Styling, that we actually did answer your question on that one multiple times because,
Darrell, would it be possible, Darrell, sorry to cut you off, man. Would it be possible to literally make a t-shirt with the map on it and it just says, fuck that map underneath it?
Anything's possible.
Because that would be the greatest t-shirt of all time.
I mean, can you make a t-shirt with that map? I don't think you could. There's like multiple floors and whatnot. It's so
the thing is, it wouldn't be readable or legible, but you know what? That would also fall in line with how crap that map is. And when you have somebody like me who is not feeling it at the moment, and then you're trying to figure out where you're supposed to go, and you get stuck on these little slide loops and these little ice worlds, it's like, you know what? F this map, I'm out. All right. Our good buddy Diego writes in. He says, all hail Starscream. That is all. My man. And then MZ says something about
Optimus Prime, leader of the Autobots.
MZ says something about losers. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, not a ton of write-ins, but that's okay. We don't always need a ton of write-ins for things to be impactful.
Where's Dr. Deuce at? Where's he at?
He sent some dank memes earlier. So he sent some good memes in. Dr. Deuce, he might be putting the pen down for a little while. I think he's taking a breather. But then again, also Amber Heard hasn't really given him a lot of things to write about.
Turds to talk about.
I think she
wrestling questions on
no, not tonight. No. Really? We have to tell everybody a good old firm.
On Facebook.
So, all right. Well, here we go. So that is where we're at with community questions. Let's get into the actual scores, because we'll talk about the scores and then we'll use this to kind of lead us out of the conversation for the evening. But there's two gentlemen in particular that have really just taken this community event and wrote it. They're in a league of their own. All right, we got Red Beer Rick with 127 points. Then we got I'm Styling You Bro with 126 points. That's pretty friggin' impressive. That's a lot of points. These boys have been putting it down. So from there, let me get back. I clicked out of it. We got our commissioner, JT, with 71 points. We've got Gaz Davis with 59 points. Residentdarrell with 51 points. We got Sadik with 49 points. We got Diego with 48. Yield with 47, which is pretty impressive to see Yield participating in the way that he is participating. Yield is a creature of habit, doesn't like change, and doesn't like stepping outside of his comfort zone. But you know what? He leaned in this year after a couple of years of sitting on the sidelines, kind of doing his own thing.
He was in it last year.
Yeah, but did he participate?
No, he was. I gave him points.
Okay, because I know he said on his show a lot, I'm just kind of doing my own thing, keeping up my own points.
Yeah, no, him and Alex have been updating last year.
Good. Well, it's good to see it. Good. Speaking of Alex, he's next on the list. And he is at 39 points. Duplex with 38. Trying Casually Games, formerly known as John Michael Smart. 35 points. That's big. I know I've said this before, but that's major that John Michael has been able to knock out as many games this year as he has. He was one of our teammates on the first ever trophy war against the Trophy Horse. And it's very difficult for him to finish games. He's a game hopper like T. Diddy. And I like myself as really, I'm a big time game hopper. But he gets bored with stuff real fast, but he loves to play open world RPG-ish, crazy long games, only to spin out of control and go do something else. So he's done a really good job of focusing in and knocking out games. Next, we have our former co-host and good friend from Australia, Mr. CJ Anderson with 34 points. We got MZ with 26, Kalai with 23, Departed with 22, Jared, Dr. Deuce with 22. We got James the Nerd with 15, Noah the Builder with 14. Noah has really put some work in these past few weeks and platinumed 2 different games. We got Dino Killer with 12. We got the Bearded Nerd with 11. We got Jim with 7. Spider Pax with 5. Sid with 3. And Haley Pickle with 2. And that's the first half of the year. JT, what's the highest we've ever had before?
I think it was I'm Styling on you, bro.
Yeah, but wasn't it like 120 or was it 140 points? I mean, he's pretty much already
around there. I think it was still I'm Styling on you, bro.
Right. No, I feel like, but still, I think he's kind of at that point now where he's almost hit his high score from before.
He's almost there. I'm shocked. I'm happy and shocked that Red Beer Rick passed him. Yep. But also kind of not shocked. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I feel like I'm surprised, but not surprised. I'm surprised in the fact that I'm Styling you, bro, let it happen. But I'm also not shocked that Red Beer Rick actually did it.
So Rick is a skilled, efficient gamer, and not.
I also don't know where he's getting the time to do it when he has clearly has a life.
Hey, Rick. Yeah, dude, he's a madman, dude. So we're in a Rick and I talk almost. I would argue Rick and I have talked every single day for almost 14 weeks now. Doing the GTTSC, we talk pretty regular, and he plays with his son. So he's playing long, big games. He's playing stuff like Stardew Valley that just time syncs with his son. And then on his nights off, when he's got his game time, he's just cutting through games. And the GTTSC and the Backlog Beatdown and the Rarity event have all tied into each other. And he's just him and Gareth too. Gareth, they're both very focused guys, both family men, both have their careers. But man, I'm telling you, when they play with a mission. They don't do like me. They just throw in whatever feels good for a few minutes and kind of pop some points. I mean, it's all right, we're going to play this game. We're going to attack it. We're going to knock it out. We're going to move it to the next thing.
I think the most interesting thing about Red Beer Rick though is it's not all PlayStation.
No, he plays
it's
everything.
It's not the rarity leaderboard that's obviously driving him because he's played quite a few PC and Xbox games.
Yep. He played Slay the Spire to completion on mobile and on multiple platforms. So
yeah, he's doing multiple things.
Yeah, certain people out there, man, this is their efficient.
He's doing what I'm doing. Yeah. My efficiency is this: 10 points a month,
which is good.
I am above that. I'm at 76 months.
Yep. So that's good. I'm below that. But I'm glad you mentioned the points, because this year, what we did is we added the list. And so what I did was I reached out to everyone who was on the show consistently at that time. Joe was taking a leave of absence, so he missed out on some of this. But we all put together 10, 20 games and said, here's what we're going to do. This year for the Backlog Beatdown, we're going to pick old games, not new games. And we're going to say, hey, these are some of our favorite games. If you play our favorite games, then you'll get bonus points. All right. If you beat them, you get bonus points. If you platinum 100% of them, you get bonus points. Okay. So we have a list of 100 games. But since we called this season's Backlog Beatdown Back for Blood, I thought it only fitting to add Back for Blood as the 101 game on the list. So
makes sense.
We don't have the stats because Kalai's on vacation right now. So we don't have an actual pull out. Yeah, like typically when she's on, we do the halfway show and then the end of the year show. She pulls the actual stats of games that were played. But, I'm just going to kind of read out a handful of games that we put on here, and you can kind of tell who picked what. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. But I picked a handful of Resident Evil games, but I also picked games that I specifically want to challenge myself to play this year. One of them being Silent Hill Downpour. I have owned this game since it came out, and I've never, ever even put it in. It's one of those games that I grab. I've got near my PlayStation at all times, and no, I'll play that later. I'll play that when I can pay attention. So, but then I also pick games like some of my favorite games, like Killer is Dead. I put on here Spec Ops: The Line, Call of Duty Ghost, the greatest Call of Duty ever released. I put some of my favorites on there because I want. Matt had pointed out earlier that adding a list entices people to buy more games, which I don't disagree with. But I also look at it like this. I'm of two minds. That, hey, you probably own most of these games or have access to them on some subscription service that you're neglecting. So if I can incentivize you to try something that I personally think is great, maybe you'll like it too. And maybe, this will, open up a franchise to you that you otherwise would not have known. So we've also got one game that's been very popular this year, Slay the Spire. That is number 27 on the list. That will net you bonus points for beating it. And of course, bonus points for the platinuming or 100%ing it. And Rick's knocked that one out twice this year, which is pretty impressive.
Boy, that he got Xbox,
and PlayStation, and
mobile.
Yep.
So I think it's 3 times. But my portion of the list is just pretty much just like old, like really, really grindy RPGs.
Have you played any of those personally this year, or is that just stuff that you personally liked?
I played Hogwarts Legacy, platinum that. Horizon Forbidden West,
nice,
platinum that. In terms of playing, Legend of Heroes: Trails of Cold Steel, I played that. I played Crisis Core. I got points in that. I didn't platinum it though. I beat it. Last of Us Part 1, I started. So some of them I had started, some of them I had platinums, and all of them I own. So it's not like I actually picked things that I had previously owned for several years. So it's not like I'm going out to buy these things. I made sure that I had already owned these games.
Yeah.
Except for Hogwarts Legacy. That one was like the one that was like, yeah, you know what? Might as well just put a new game on this list. And you did it too with Resident Evil Remake. 4 Remake.
Did I put 4 Remake on there?
Yeah, you put 4 Remake.
Which I haven't played yet because as soon as it came out, everyone jumped on it on the GTTSC and got like some decay. And I was suffering from like,
it was
major decay for me is like 50 to 100 points starting a week.
You got all the Resident Evil remakes.
Yeah, I put a bunch of them on there. I tried not to put only that because there was other stuff that I wanted to have. But one of the things I wanted to do personally was I wanted to encourage myself to platinum more Resident Evil games. And it's funny because Gaz made fun of me just the other day about not having all the platinums or a lot of the platinums.
In Resident Evil games. Challenge you that like in the beginning when you were called the Remember the Loot, I was like, I showed you the Project Platinum thing.
Yep.
And I was like, I want you to do all of this.
Now I want to do it too, except for the fact that I'm trash at it. I've been fighting with a Resident Evil 8 Platinum for the past probably week and a half, 2 weeks. So it's driving me nuts. But yeah, so there's some stuff on there that's new, some stuff on there that's not so new. But definitely some great stuff in there. I want to point out a couple others. And these are games that I picked out, but games that I truly, truly love. And if you haven't played them and you have access to them, I highly recommend it. Splinter Cell Conviction. We just talked about this on a recent episode of the Loot Bros podcast. But I think it was Zach that picked this one. This one is an Xbox exclusive. But Splinter Cell Conviction, guys, is a banger of a game. It is a must-play Splinter Cell game. It is excellent. And then Arkham Knight. Arkham Knight being one of my absolute favorite Batman games. Probably my favorite of the Arkham games. I know people are, have highs and lows on the Batmobile stuff, but I freaking loved it. But that is definitely an excellent game. And someone put Dragon's Dogma on here, which I
did.
Oh, dude. I am so ready to go through that game. After seeing the trailer for Dragon's Dogma 2, I'm mega hyped. And I want to go back through and play the PS4 version.
I did because I had bought the game, I think a month before the BLB
Trophy
4 came out. I was like, I want to play this game.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah.
I was like, yeah, we're gonna put it on here. So that's why I put it on there. I'm gonna do it on Steam though.
Do it. All right, guys. So I want to go around the horn. All right, we're gonna land the plane with this. All right, right now we got Red Beard Rick. And
you wanted me to remind you about the leaderboard.
Okay.
I don't know why, but
yeah. So real quick, since you brought it up, because I don't want to forget that you had mentioned a long time ago when we first launched the Loot Bros podcast custom leaderboards on TrueTrophies.com. That we should do the true trophy score, not the actual amount.
No, the ratio.
Yeah, and I didn't understand why that made a difference. Because in my head, it's like, well, if we do the true trophies score, which again I didn't realize what you were talking about with the ratio, then whoever has the most trophies is just going to have the most score. But when
the ratio, but with the ratio, it requires more finessing, like more planning. It's like the TTSC.
Right, absolutely.
Because the ratio is pretty much the difference, or the difference is pretty much the ratio. And
for those of you guys who don't understand what that means,
it's basically the rarity.
Yes, well, PlayStation has a point system, okay, for each trophy. So the bronze, the silver, the gold, the platinum, they're all worth a certain amount of points. Similar to like a Xbox achievement, with the exception of this goes to an experience system that levels your trophy. You have your trophy levels on your profile. With TrueTrophies.com and TrueAchievements.com, they have their own system, and the rarity is based on the amount of people that own and open a game versus the amount of people that actually pop these trophies. So if like Final Fantasy 16, when it first came out and 5 million people turned their game on, that number,
like 15,000 points.
Correct. But then a week later, 2 weeks later, when people start popping all the trophies, they're no longer super rare. They're becoming more common. That score goes down and it kind of evens itself out. So then you take away PlayStation's value. So like a bronze trophy is worth 15 points, a silver's worth 30, a gold's worth 90, and a platinum's worth what, 125?
I think it's different now because of the new system.
Right.
But yeah, just go with that for now.
So essentially there's a set value. So then with True Trophies, the difference here, and this is why I wanted to bring this up, the difference is you take away PlayStation's value, and then from the True Trophies value. And so let's say True Trophy says a bronze trophy for jumping 100 times is worth 30 points. You take away that 15 point PlayStation value, and now your difference is 15 points. And so that's the GTTSC. That's what we're doing. The score is calculated based on the difference, and that can fluctuate the more people pop these trophies. So when people go after the same game, you might have a ton of points this week, but the next week you start off in the negative because the trophy value has adjusted itself out.
Yeah,
and that has been, it adds another layer of thinking, like you're saying, planning and finesse, because you don't want to run out and play the newest game.
I also was thinking like it would give people a better chance to combat someone like CJ, because let's be real,
someone who gets a lot of volume.
Let's be real. Not all of us have that money to just like blow $300 on like that amount of platinums, because really, at this point, it's who has the most time and money.
Yeah.
And that's the person who's going to win the current leaderboard that you have. So it just puts a little more skill. Like now the person who is not doing that has a chance of getting that top 3, but also showing off his skill.
Right. So I want to take that idea and then the backlog beatdown where we're at right now. And this is where I want to end the show, is that the list is supposed to be an equalizer to people who have the time. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some people who have more time than others, and it just is what it is. So my thoughts was like, let's give an incentive, a bonus to play some certain games that maybe these people have already played because they played such volume, right? And they have more time to play volume, and give the guy who doesn't have as much maybe a little bit of an incentive to say, well, I'll play a certain game over here, and this might net me some more points. In the same way that the GTTSC and then the difference in the ratios and what we're talking about with trophy stuff, because I'm thinking about, just adding another layer to the leaderboards, especially since I record it and post now anyways. It's saying, hey, you know what? Here's the actual amount of trophies earned. So here's the leaderboard for that. But then here is the true trophies difference or ratio. I'm still thinking about it. But here's because that might be a guy like Matt who doesn't play for trophies, but pops trophies. Right. And it might be that he's like, you know what?
One of those might have a high ratio.
Right.
Like it might be a miscellaneous trophy with like a high ratio. Then all of a sudden he's
the winner of the week. Yeah.
Winner of the week.
Yep. So anyways, I just kind of want to put that out there. I want to go around the horn real fast. Looks like we might be losing Joe. He looks like he's melting again. But real quick, we'll start with you, JT. Who do you foresee being, I don't want to say the winner. I don't want to call and see who we think the winner of the BLB is going to be, but who do you think is going to surprise us in the second half of the event?
Well, I think Redbeard Rick is probably going. Redbeard Rick is already surprised.
Very nice.
But I do think that I'm Stalin Bro will get his act together.
There we go. Let's see it.
He's my boy.
MAttacon, the Star Screamer himself. Who do you think is going to surprise us?
He pays me money, man. I need him to pay me
money. We know you're on the cake. We know.
They both pay me money. You know how much things I okay from Redbeard Rick, especially with his son. I try to make it really fun for his son.
Oh, dude, he's enjoying it.
Because
my kids are enjoying it.
His son seems like a really cool kid. I want him to enjoy it. So I make these concessions for him and his son so that they could have like family bonding time.
Same.
You know, so like he also pays me.
Same here. Yeah, he pays them big bucks. That's all that matters. All right, Matt, who do you think is going to surprise us for the second half of the year?
Not knowing anything, I'm going to go with JT's answer and say Redbeard Rick.
Okay. It's a good answer, by the way. All right. What about you, Mr. Houston? Who do you think is going to be the surprise for the back half of the year?
Well, I'm assuming Kalai is a part of this, so I'm assuming she's going to be the surprise, and she's going to be the dark horse coming up the rear and making it actual work and doing a good job. And look, I don't count her out on anything. She's very smart. calculus individual. She's like the cerebral assassin, aka Triple H of the group. So don't count her out.
And that. You know, if that happens,
that'd be awesome.
Oh my god,
let's go.
Oh my god, Kalai, you gotta make it happen.
The dark horse. Let's see. All right, Joe.
She's not gonna make it happen.
What are you thinking, bud? Who do you think's gonna be the surprise?
Not Tricky, because he'll be playing Division.
Well, Tricky's not even in the event.
I know. Honestly, Darrell, I think it's gonna be you. I think you're gonna pop up. I don't think you're gonna win, but I think you're gonna do some damage in the second half. You got a lot of fire in you. There's fire in your belly.
I like it.
Well, aren't you in fourth?
Yeah.
No, you're in fifth.
I was in fourth.
Gareth is in fourth. Yeah, you could do it. I mean, I could do it. But like the thing is that let's just not include anyone in the panel.
I mean, if JT gave a shit, he would win. But JT don't give a shit right now.
Right.
Like that's my thing. I've known JT a long time. We've been buddies for a long time. And if JT gave a shit, you'd fucking
I won the first one. I don't really want to win another.
If Rick or Stylen ever stepped out of line, JT would take the commissioner hat off and take that Stone Cold Steve Austin, I'm gonna stomp a mud hole hat and put it on, and he would come out there. And
I think one win is good enough.
You know what? You're right. I've never won anything that I've ever participated.
I didn't even really try for that one. I just wanted to make a point, and I guess I made my point.
Yeah, you did, and look at you now. So yeah, I don't know. I'm having a good time. The Backlog Beatdown encourages me to keep going and keep finishing things and put some points on the board. I've got a handful of games that are on the list that are very close to platinum status. One of them being Gotham Knights. I just need to stop fooling around and just finish my collectible run. And that'll be major points.
It's always the collectibles. I mean, it's the same with me too. Like Jedi Survivor, I literally cut it off when I turned it to collectibles. I was like, oh, I'm done.
I don't remember if I put Resident Evil 8 on. Yeah, I did. So yeah, Resident Evil 8's another one. I'm one trophy away from the platinum.
Nearly all of them on there.
Yeah, I'm one trophy away from the platinum on Resident Evil 8, so that'll be big points on there. So I've beat that game like seriously. I think I've actually beat it 8 times. So
is that like your 500? Is that going to be your 500 platinum?
Well, it's going to be my 400th, but we ended up doing Subnautica. We needed the points for the GTTSC, and that saved us. Literally, guys, I'm not kidding you. Like we're down into the last. We were playing it throughout the night. I got the Vita going, the PS3 going. We got Subnautica going over here, and we're like, we need points. And we were above the elimination line. And then that last 2 hours, mainly that last hour, which is 1 o'clock in the 12 to 1 here in our time, like people are just dropping score, and it pushed us, from a comfortable position and above the line. We were still like on elimination, like we were the next one down. But like to below the elimination line. And so we had to start dropping points. And, my boys and I, we stay up on Sunday nights because Gareth and Rick are 5 hours ahead of us. So like they could go to bed, and this happened in the solo event. You go to bed and you're like, let's say you're 5 or 6 positions above the elimination line. You wake up and you're 5 or 6 positions below because everybody got up or stayed up all night popping points. So we've been staying.
Platinum was Subnautica. That's pretty good. Yeah.
So we ended up platinum, and they've eliminated the developer menus back in December. So we had to do it legit. Not that it matters. But that's one of my son's favorite games. So we've done Subnautica and Subnautica Below Zero. Now we're working on Subnautica PS5 stack right now. But yeah, dude. So I sacrificed my 400th spot from being Resident Evil to a game I play with my kids. So it was worth it.
So now, at the end of the day, it could just be 500.
Well, I think I need those points this week so we can make it to the semifinals.
Well,
so I need
you could make any Resident Evil
there's plenty 500.
Of them. I think
the PS4 stack too.
I think 500 in general is a more appreciated number. I also just got my 400 platinum this year as well. By the way, Spider-Man.
Awesome. It's a good one. All right. Thank you, JT. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, T, Diddy, and Joe. Appreciate you guys for hanging out. It's getting kind of late. Time to land the plane. Guys, check out the Hunter Houston ESG podcast. Check out the Loot Bros podcast. Check out the Residentdarrell YouTube channel. Give a shout out to these guys and all their work. What you got for us, T, Diddy?
Oh, I just also wanted to give a big shout out to the Loot Bros Drift cast with Matt, JP, and Kalai, and we wish for her safe return. Which
and my wife,
yes, and your wife,
and V, she's a full-time member now,
taking hostage while she's over in Italy.
Yeah,
I thought she was like the Trophy Horrors.
She's the community manager for the Trophy Horror. She's a basically full-time streamer, and she's a Driftcast member.
Listen, I don't know how the Trophy Horror shit went down, but
so. When is she gonna take the Trophy Horrors and just have it co-signed as Loot Bros?
Oh, dude, she's going to take over Proving Gamer, like in general. Like she said, first,
she's just gonna give it to you. Man.
Why the fuck would you want to take over? Like, let's be real.
Take it.
What is it? It's worth like I know that Tricky said that it was like that it does have the corporation logo and. It's probably like worth like a cent in the stock market.
Hey man, that's a cent. That's a cent more than me. So yeah, we're looking forward to V taking over the Proven Gamer Network, and then Starscream being elected to the head.
Darrell, low key, the Loot Bros is going to take over everything.
Honestly, I smell the Trophy War brewing. Smell it. It's that season. It's Trophy Horror.
Let's do it.
It's Trophy War season. Let's get our teams going.
All right, Matt's got to go. We got to go. We can start.
No more jank.
I'll put this out there, and we're going to hang up as soon as I say this. Okay, I say we'll let the community pick the games. Trophy Horrors versus Loot Bros. Trophy War. Let's go.
Enough is enough, stand together, put the guns down, bodies buried in the ground. I don't care what the media says, in the end we all bleed red. This is who we are now, a nation divided. We broke up cars and start riots in the middle of our fellow man. It's time for a change, we will no longer remain quiet. White on black, black on white. God made us all, tell me why we fight. I can never hate a person based off their skin. Hate creates hate, it's like it's never an end. I'm sorry for the ones that have lost their lives. I'm sorry for the loss of buy into the lies. Everyone is equal, you're not better than me. I'm not better than you, I'm just speaking the truth. We weren't born to hate, we were made to love. One nation under God, when is it enough? How much blood have we shed in the land of the free? There's so many dead. Stop the hate, we still have time to turn it all around, it is not too late. Search your heart, make things right. You could lose your life tonight. It's about to go down. When we say enough is enough, stand together, put the guns down, bodies buried in the ground. I don't care what the media says, in the end we all bleed red. This is who we are now, a nation divided. We broke up cars and start riots in the middle of our fellow man. It's time for a change, we will no longer remain quiet. How many people have to die at our both hands to make us realize we're committing genocide? I will not budge, God's on my side. Time for us to step up and do what's right. You can hate on me, you can put me down, but my message stands, I won't bow down. Take your hate, take your lies, take these scales off of your eyes. We see things so one-sided, it's no surprise we're so divided. I'm praying for you, I'm sending love to everyone under the sun. Let this hate go from your heart, run this race and finish hard. We can fight this fight together, squash the hatred, love forever. My heart it breaks every single day to see people who lost their way. It's about to go down. When we say enough is enough, stand together, put the guns down, bodies buried in the ground. I don't care what the media says, in the end we all bleed red. This is who we are now, a nation divided. We broke up cars and start riots in the middle of our fellow man. It's time for a change, we will no longer remain quiet. It's about to go down. When we say enough is enough, stand together, put the guns down, bodies buried in the ground. I don't care what the media says, in the end we all bleed red. That's who we are now. A nation divided. We burn cop cars and start riots. Nullify our fellow man. It's time for a change. We will no longer remain quiet.